there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 23 of the Jams and Cocktails live podcast. I'm Brad Brock, and I'll be your host tonight. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and you can find the show by searching Brad Brock Music across the board. We're watching the comments, so say hi, enjoying the conversation. Joining me, as always, here in the JNC Lounge is the beautiful and amazing Miss Jordan Taylor.
Hello, everyone.
Looking good.
Thank you.
From Treasure Coast Entertainment, our good friend, Mr. Jeff Farashedian.
Hey, Jeff. And it's possible.
And tonight, we're featuring the Treasure Coast and perhaps the world's favorite ukulele duo, Katy and Shanece from The Little Things.
I like the applause. It makes me feel like there's so many more people here.
It's nice.
I decided to keep it because back in the day when it was just me by myself, it was really discouraging.
I know, it's weird. It's weird when we go live even. It's like you kind of want that, you know?
Yep. See, you just get a clap track. It works. It's good.
Sounds better than a rain track or something.
There you go. We got a fun show for you guys tonight, which we'll be kicking off with this week's Shot of the Week. While we're getting to know the little things, we'll also be playing some games, putting them through the Lipton tea, getting our news and gossip from the Jordy Files, and of course, getting our midweek motivation with Tony Espinosa. Some clerical work. Be sure to join the Jams and Cocktails live podcast group on Facebook and subscribe to the Brad Brock Music YouTube channel and give us a follow on Twitch. And that is also Brad Brock Music. Are you guys ready for the Shot of the Week?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Big time.
Woo.
My shots are not that pretty.
This is pretty delicious. So it looks good. Fingers are crossed. It's all on you, Jordan. You poured them.
Jordan's like, okay, I don't know.
So tonight's Shot of the Week is the lemon drop.
Oh, I got a perfect song for this.
Probably like the world's simplest shot, right? It is 1 part vodka.
Don't say that yet. You haven't tried.
I guess that's fair.
I know. She's like, don't judge me yet.
2 ingredients. I could fuck it up still.
So it's 1 part vodka, 1 part lemon juice. Shake with ice and pour. Take the shot and suck the sugar-coated lemon. I mean, that's pretty simple.
That's
Sounds
what
like
she
a good
said.
old time to me.
Pretty basic stuff.
Pretty basic. All right.
Well, cheers. Thank you guys for having us.
Love you guys. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Jams and cocktails.
Yes, well done, Jordan. Well done.
Thank you. Not terrible.
You did
It
that.
did.
It was
like vodka and
more
lemon
than
juice.
not terrible. It was amazing.
Yeah, right. Tastes like vodka and lemons.
And sugar.
And sugar.
And sugar.
We just
And
made
sugar.
these as cocktails the other day.
Very definitive.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent.
Nice.
It's like a warhead, kind of, you know?
Oh, it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
Oh my
the lemon
God.
ones.
Remember
Oh,
warheads?
yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
A little, yeah.
Warheads. Those are
Like middle school, 8th grade vibes
Yeah.
on the bus, you
back,
know?
back in the day, man. I knew kids. I never was this crazy, but I knew kids that would like eat them so often they would develop like blisters on their tongues.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
wild.
It's wild that like that's like a children's food. Like people market this for children.
Yeah.
It's like you're angry at yourself or something.
Get that during your developmental years. It's the best.
Yeah, for
I'm sure it won't stunt your growth at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's just sugar and lemons, like you're good.
That's it. It's it.
Add some vodka, you're an adult.
All right. Well, you guys, we'll dive right into it because
then.
I don't know about you all out there, but I've been waiting to get these girls in the studio for so long.
Aw.
And I'm so glad that we finally got to a point where we can, responsibly do the show in a socially distant kind of way.
We're all 6
Yes,
feet away
indeed.
at least. I'm
Right?
proud of
Yeah,
us.
it's
not
good.
so
It's
bad.
good. Yeah, I feel very safe.
Well, good. I don't want you to be like, oh, we're at
I certainly-
creepy Brad's house.
I
It's a
certainly
common
wouldn't let
Brad.
myself into anybody's house. I felt like I was gonna get the Rona. You know. It's fine.
Good. Well, that makes me feel good. Well, you guys, the Little Things are an eclectic ukulele duo who put their own spin on current top 40 hits and classic tunes. They've taken their show on the road around the country as well as internationally. They hit you with expert harmonies and infectious, confident charm.
Oh.
They are one of my favorite acts to see around town, so it's great to finally have them here on the JNC podcast. So check out The Little Things.
Me and you alone together. hoping that we have good weather, going on this new adventure, trying to find a life that's better. Me and you against the world, just us two ukulele girls. It's just us and all the little things that make our life just so worth living, taking all that life is giving, doing more than just existing. Me and you against the world, just us two ukulele girls. Me and you against the world, just us two ukulele girls.
Very nice.
Oh my God, how fancy do we look?
Give it up for the little things.
I want to after that.
So what's up, ladies? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
having
Thank you for
us.
having us.
Absolutely. It's like I mentioned, it's great to be able to have people back in here because we were pulling a lot of things out of our butts to pull together shows,
Especially right now, I can imagine, yeah.
especially you
Yeah.
know we were off to a pretty good start with having regularly artists on the show, but we figured out how to do the Skype thing, which was cool, and
get like a
yeah.
Zoom call or something.
Yeah,
fancy.
exactly. So, but it is nice to have you in the studio, so welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
So what's up? Like, what have you guys been up to now
gosh.
that things are starting to open back up and
Well, we had our last gig in it was before St. Patty's Day. It was the beginning of March. And we didn't really do anything. We were doing like Facebook Live and
I mean,
whatever we could to supplement.
Like any other musician, really, we panicked because everybody was like, "Oh, there's this huge virus.
True.
It's a pandemic," which you have to respect because
Right.
that's a real
Gotta do
thing.
something.
But also, as a musician, you're like, "Oh God, that's my
My
whole
living is
livelihood."
being around people.
Yeah, and as you guys are well aware, we don't do anything else. So this was it for us, you know? So we kind of were banking on the fact that, okay, I guess people online will have to be somewhat
But
generous.
we had some really successful
Yeah,
live
yeah.
shows.
We
We had
definitely
some shows where we went live and we're like, oh, we had one person watching and it was me. I was watching to see the comments and there was no
I
comments.
mean, yeah, we definitely started them off and we were like, okay, so we're the only ones watching. That's cool. It's fine. We'll build it up as you do for shows, as I'm sure
Yeah.
you
it was
know.
up and down. But
Yeah.
since then, we started gigging again maybe 3
month?
weeks ago,
Yeah,
less than a month
just
ago.
about a month.
And it's been okay. It's been kind of weird. You know, some people are like super paranoid and super panicked and like keep your distance. And other people are like, man, whatever, it doesn't matter. Give me a hug. And
You
I'm
know.
like,
yeah, exactly. Like
And
there's
don't-
definitely some people that are like, let me hold you.
Right.
I'm like,
It's
please
what?
don't. I never ever want people to touch me at gigs, but like
Sure.
especially now, I'm like, extra don't touch me, please.
Yeah,
and
now
thank
you have an extra reason.
But then we're also going from like, you know, maybe 4 or 5 gigs a week to like 2 gigs a week. You
Right.
know? So it's
Lucky,
like
yeah.
it's like definitely very thankful to have them, and we're still being as socially distant as we can be even at them. We kind of get on stage, do our thing, go to the car. We try not to like interact, and if we are, we have masks on, you know.
Don't touch me.
Trying to be as safe
Yeah.
as possible, but there's only
No,
so much
it's-
you can do, and part of you feels bad that you have to be out because you're like, I don't really have another way to make money. This is my livelihood, so I have to do this.
Right.
But I don't want to because I feel like I shouldn't.
Well,
You
like-
know what I mean?
Because like we were saying, and I'm sure all of us have experienced, people are very torn between like it's a thing I should be careful and it's not a thing I don't care.
Right.
But then we went to what was it, Melbourne or something? We went
Yeah.
somewhere. We went to Publix and they wouldn't let us in because we weren't wearing a mask.
I know, just the geography that
It's all about the big-
creates what people are thinking is okay. You
It's
know,
like bigger
it's bizarre.
cities as well have bigger people, more people.
Those people are gigantic.
giant humans.
Well, I think mostly just like northern Florida, even, you know, you're getting out of the state, and so there's like more
Closer to
cities,
Disney,
people
Right.
are coming through,
college
so,
towns.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like even places like you go into Walgreens, you pop in somewhere, and they're like, you need a mask.
There was a
you pop
line-
into a gas station, you need a mask. I mean, it's drastically different from what we're experiencing here.
I lied when I said it was Publix. It was the liquor store that wouldn't let us in. The Publix, there was we didn't feel like waiting in line for the Publix because there was a line. They only allowed like 40 people in or whatever. So we had to like wait in the queue. And I was like, well, I want liquor, and there's a liquor store right there. So.
Two birds, one stone.
You know what? We were lucky. They were
One
only,
bird, one
They were
stone.
letting 2 people in at a time, and we happened to just be the second set of people, and it was fine. The woman was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, as long as nobody else comes in here with you, come and get your stuff, get out." We're like, "Great."
Yeah, but it's
awesome.
been, but it has been nice. Like last weekend, we played at Sneaky Tiki, and it was a really nice show. It wasn't super packed, which I was kind of worried about.
It was really. They were very respectful with being socially distant. They placed people at tables like, you know, Sneaky Tiki, so
Yep.
like very like apart from each other, and we ended
Yeah.
up having like one of the best shows. I mean, even the owner asked us to stay till late, stay till 10, and keep going because we just kind of had like a hype crowd and they were like
really
into it.
fun.
Yeah, I know,
Nice.
because I had to follow you guys up on Sunday.
Did you do the 6-hour gig there?
No.
I don't know if they're still doing that.
We actually did that
once.
once for you guys.
I do. Oh, yeah. I
we
do
did it.
remember that.
Just us. I mean, luckily for us, we have the material, but it was like, man, it was a long
Also,
one.
we
Yeah.
definitely took 30-minute breaks, but
No,
Darren
that's
was
the
like,
marathon.
"Do your thing."
Yeah.
It is.
It was
I know.
it was
Yeah.
a really good show though. It was really fun. It was
This
like
guy, Jeff.
1 to 6 or something, but it was a really good time. But getting back into the swing of things is. It's like comfortable because it's, you know, what we know and like what we're used to, but also kind of weird because of the responsibility of like
wanting to be a good human.
Should we
to
go
society,
outside?
Yeah,
You know?
no,
You know?
I completely agree, and I feel like everybody has their argument on one way or another. And I'll be honest, in the beginning, I was not a mask wearer.
Same.
But now, like,
We were so against it. We were like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm young. I'm not gonna get it unless
Yeah.
I'm a baby or like an old person. Like,
But-
I'm fine.
Yourself safe.
But what resonated with me was the argument that it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
about the safety of others, and
Yeah.
and that resonated with me.
Same.
In a way that I was like, you know what is it taking away from me to put a mask on?
Exactly.
And
Right.
I'm not out here like saying, oh, because the government said so. It's just not. I'm sorry, that was a real stereotype.
I
but-
think we all kind of feel it.
What is the male version of Karen? Not that gender matters at all, but
God, I was listening to a real
Carl.
I don't know.
radio.
Carl.
Carol and Carl. Karen and Carl.
Real radio was they were having this conversation just a couple of days ago with the male counterpart is for Karen, and yeah, they were going through all kinds of names. Brad came up a couple of times. That was fun.
I was actually gonna make that joke, but I was like, maybe not on his actual show. I shouldn't make that.
I'm pulling the plug.
I'm done. I saw a really hilarious
Told the
video
joke.
of like how guys interact when women aren't around, and it's like Chad and then Thad and Chadius and
Chadius Thaddeus the Third.
Chad Master 5000.
It just keeps going, but
I don't
no,
know.
I mean,
I don't
think-
know any shitty Brad. Or can I say that? Any negative Brads?
We have no FCC guidelines
Oh,
here,
sweet.
so
Fuck,
it's
fuck,
just
fuck.
So I can say fish sticks and barnacles and
yes, and
Yeah.
twiddly dee and twiddly dup.
Think of the SpongeBob curse words, Katie. You got it.
Oh
No.
man,
hi Brad Brock.
I do think, to answer your question, it's been strange. It's been weird. We've liked being back working. We've liked being around people, but also at the same time, we're trying to be as cautious as possible. So it's a
me.
weird
It's smart.
line. It's a weird line,
it's a weird line, but you know what? Like it's not something that's unattainable,
Yeah,
and so
totally.
just being vigilant and being just I don't know, aware
Yeah.
of your surroundings. I guess if you want to throw it
I
down,
think aware is the word, though. You're right.
I've always
You're
been
right.
kind of that way anyway. Like I remember, oddly enough, it happened to me. It sort of struck me when we were on tour in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, and I saw them washing cups, pint glasses at the bar. You know what they do? They
Yeah.
take it and they splunk it in the water, and then they like give like the squirt, and they just like put it
And
back.
then, yeah, back
And
on
I'm
the
like-
rack.
I'm like, so you're washing every glass in the same
In the same
water.
3 gallons.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's all however many people are here and you're just like in the same
I have to say, though, that Katie has actually been loving this because Katie, as she's
I've always been, like,
expressing, is
weirdly
like a get
paranoid.
away from me person. And now she has like a real reason.
now there's a reason.
She's
yeah.
like, they're like, someone goes to hug her. She's like, actually, it's fine. Corona, it's good.
Yeah.
Just stay over there.
No, it's funny. I do feel like introverts are winning in this particular battle.
but like when I meet people, I stand like this. I'm not like, hello, nice to meet you. I'm like, hi,
Hands down.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, she's literally like,
I'm like, if you want to hug me, then I'll hug. I'm not like uncomfortable about
Right.
it, but I'm not like, oh hi. I'm like,
right.
hello. So like this has been kind of interesting, and like our Netherlands tour was 2018 or 2017. So like this was,
Pretty recent, yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
very,
But a few years ago.
very
Yeah.
very recent, but like still way far away from any sort of global
Pandemic.
Right, yeah.
And I was just like, this still seems very unsanitary. And now here we are out in the world. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, I was like, man, whatever, alcohol or.
Well, the way they should be doing it, at any rate, just because I worked in a dish pit once.
one time, one forever ago.
We've all
At
done that.
a pizza place.
You got the 3 dunks.
Yeah, there should be 3 dunks, and each one has a tablet. One is to clean, one is to sterilize, and one is to rinse. and then it goes back on the rack.
So see, maybe we're like looking at them doing. We're like, that's gross, but they're actually doing their job.
Doing it right, yeah.
And
I can't speak for the codes in the Netherlands. I'm not sure how they're.
Me neither. I couldn't speak the language.
When you think about you're in drinking countries, you're in Germany, you're in the Netherlands, like these are places that like you get beer bottles and they're like this big, and
they are professionals there.
By the end of one of them, you're feeling pretty great about yourself and your life,
you don't care.
And then you're doing gigs there, and the owners are like, shoving drinks down your throat. Everybody's talking.
I worked for a Dutch cruise company for years, so I know how the Dutch operate.
My favorite
and drink.
My very favorite part. This is a bit of a non sequitur. My very favorite part of the tour was we had a tour manager and a tour driver. So fancy.
Very fancy.
So fancy.
Right, look how fancy we are.
His name
it wasn't that fancy. Don't worry about it. It was very like bare minimum.
His name was Jordy, and the van was called Van Diesel.
Nice.
But he was Dutch. He spoke English, but he was born and raised in Amsterdam actually, and so the GPS was all in Dutch. That was my favorite, is to hear the like schla links, blah, blah, blah.
So by the end of it, we could say like, turn left at the intersection of blah, blah. We learned like Dutch words, but in directions.
We learned how to say left and right, but like not
and like brost, which is like cheers, like brost.
We're gonna have to we'll have to quiz you on your Dutch here.
We'll fail.
No. Oh God, we'll fail. Don't do it.
I learned quite a few Dutch words that I don't know how to put them together.
You're probably way better.
You're
probably way better off than we are. I'm telling you right now. It's not gonna go well.
I asked them how to say thank you, and it literally took them like 5 seconds, and I was like, I'm sorry, I will not remember that. That was way too long of a word. Like I tried. I genuinely did, and I repeated it back, and they repeated it back. And
Are you ready?
Spent a few minutes.
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Dankevel.
Though Dankevel is one, like Dankevel.
Dankevel is the like obvious one, but there's a
proper way.
Proper way, and it's like the most like. I mean, it's intense unless you have already that like understanding of like your throat, to be honest with you. Like it's not gonna happen.
Oh my gosh, bless. I don't know if I should say this on the internet, but like we stayed with our tour manager's parents while we were in a city close to their house, and instead of having basements, because the Netherlands is flat,
right,
they have attic apartments.
Sure.
And we stayed in the attic, and bless his poor father, he was just like coughing a whole bunch. And we were joking, saying that he's preparing for a whole day of speaking Dutch. Just like clearing his throat and getting ready for all the like.
That's hilarious.
And also, we did this tour, I want to say in like October, November.
Oh, September.
And it was September, October. Yeah. And I'm sorry. And it was so cold. And we're staying in attics. And, in other countries in the world, people do not have AC or like ventilation at all in their homes. So like. What you have is like what you buy and place in like those rooms.
Right, yeah, it's like a stove heat.
Right,
and then
exactly.
It comes up there.
So like even
devices.
Even when we're in Edinburgh in the summer and it's like a particularly hot day, this year unfortunately we won't get to do that. But when we're there, you got to like open up those windows. Like you don't have AC, you know what I mean?
There's got to be some sort of airflow.
Yeah. Even on our New Zealand tour, I mean, we did it in New Zealand summer, which is, January, February, March, like that kind of time. And it was like, some of the places we stayed in, I mean, we couldn't even sleep because we would wake up and sweat.
We'd have the windows open and we'd get like a really nice breeze, but it was still like 80 degrees in there. We're like,
I will say as an American, you don't realize how good you have it with AC and like house ventilation and things like that. Because the rest of the world does not have that, man.
And cold beer.
Yeah.
Cold beer. Yes.
Cold anything though. Ice and things. You get a Coke at a bar, you getting a Coke in a glass with no ice. Like ice is important, guys.
Indeed.
We love ice.
Ice.
Well, I honestly, I can't wait to dig into your world travels because, like, just kind of like reading some of the places that you had been, I was like, oh, I was there, on a ship. So like, I was there like 900 times. One day at a time,
Right.
The one.
Listen,
spot.
it's the same thing with touring. I mean, you're on water, but we're on land. We're doing the same thing. We're there a day at a time, at a time.
We went. So when we were in tour and when we did our European tour. That must have been 2018.
Yeah, it was definitely 2018.
Yeah, because we did New Zealand.
We immediately moved here after that.
Yeah. So it was 2018. We went all over the Netherlands.
So cool.
But we did the Netherlands and some of Germany. We did like Hamburg and one other tiny city right on the border. But we were in the place for a day, and then we had to drive the next day to the next gig. And then the days that we had off, we were just like, fuck. Like, thank God I don't have to like get dressed right now in a bathroom, But it's different than when earlier that year. So that was like September, and then January, February, or till March, we did the New Zealand tour where we had a gig on a weekend and we had 4 days So
Right.
we could drive for a whole day, but we still had 2 or 3 other days on the outside of it to like relax. And we went all over New Zealand then. So
Oh, yeah.
but I feel like
That's
that
great.
trip we got a proper feel for. Like I feel like we visited.
That was
New
the only
Zealand.
one
Right.
of our tours that we've done where we actually felt like we saw the country.
Right.
after
It was
our
like an
tour.
opportunity to kind of take
And we
it all
planned
in.
it that way though. We knew that the tour was only going to be like maybe about a month and a half, and we planned to stay there for 2 months so we could have the last 2 weeks to kind of like
3 months,
rent our
yeah.
own car and like drive around the country and see it all. So that was really nice. And like definitely you see parts of it when you're in tour too. Even
As I'm sure you know, like you
Yeah.
still go
Yeah.
to the place and
Yeah.
you still see it. Like we
but
spent
it's not the same, you know. It's not
we
the
spent
Oh,
one
yeah.
day walking around Hamburg, but I would never be like, oh, when I was in Hamburg.
I do have like, or I do tell those stories. A lot of those stories
Oh,
are
me too, don't worry.
compiled, because we would be out there, we would do the same route for months, So like
Where'd you go?
Yeah, wow, I want to know about you. Interviewed
Well,
Brad. Let's go.
We'll get into that. But I would love to. I know I see some of your people popping in through here, but I have a lot of my people that would love to hear you guys play a song. Are you guys
Yeah.
down to jam a tune?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Gosh, I wish we had thought about this.
Yeah,
a
you know,
bit.
you would think we would prepare for things like this, but we don't.
I'm
We always
very
say it all the
unprepared.
time.
What song do you want to do, Shanice? Do you want to do an original song? Do you want us to do
Yeah,
an
let's do
original
an
song?
original song.
We'll do the one that you played at the beginning. How about that?
All right, I love it.
This is after our first trip to Scotland.
You guys give it
So-
up for the little things.
One of the first trips that we took there, the first thing I noticed was like gray and blue eyes and gray and blue skies of all the people, and that line stuck with me. So I wrote the song. The blues and grays in the skies, matching the swirls in your eyes. I wish I could have told you to stay. I wish I didn't run away. Yeah, yeah. I wish I didn't run away. Yeah, yeah. I could have had you right then and there. Instead I acted like I didn't care. Now I want you right next to me, but I guess I just couldn't let it be. Should've called you up on the phone every night that I felt alone. Won't really ever know where this could have gone. There was so much to explore, and you only left me wanting more. It was easier being your friend, just knowing your first name back then. It was never really ever too late, but I guess you just couldn't wait. Now I'm stuck here contemplating everything I didn't say. The blues and grays in the skies, matching the swirls in your eyes. I wish I could have told you to stay. I wish I didn't run away. Yeah, yeah. I wish I didn't run away. Yeah, yeah. At the beach, not enjoying the view, 'cause all I really wanna see is you. For you're miles and miles away, and I can't let go of yesterday. Should've called you up on the phone every night that I felt alone. Won't really ever know where this could have gone. man, I really need to download this flat track. It's so satisfying.
Dude, you guys.
I'm loving it.
There it is.
The whole time I'm listening, because obviously I listened to that track several times when I was putting this all together.
I'm sure.
You guys sound so exact. It just blows my mind. Like I if I'd closed my eyes and didn't realize or know that you guys were sitting here, I wouldn't have known.
I think that's our biggest thing. It's like if you hear one of our songs, I mean, it's changing a little bit now because we're trying to be more forward-thinking in our music. But
sure.
I think now if you were to listen to any of the music that we have online, like our biggest drive, even when we learn covers for our cover gigs, it's like we try so hard to emulate that song, but still make it our own.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to sing the song exactly like how you hear it, but also if you heard us sing it, you would know that that's that song. But if you heard it side by side, it's so different.
Sure.
So I think that's our biggest.
I agree. I think it's a reason why a lot of venues ask for you by name, because it always works out well. Yeah, and you guys get great feedback and good interaction with everybody.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it really works out well.
We were actually recorded that song, that the version that's on Spotify and all that. We recorded that in. So we went to Edinburgh. Well, we went to the UK for the festival that we go to in Scotland every year, and we were staying with our friend in England, and it was right before the festival. It was our second or third year back, and we wanted to have something different because we had like covers that we had recorded when we lived in New Orleans from the year before.
The CD that we were selling at the time was just a cover CD.
And it was the same thing, and we had some new originals, and we wanted to like add some stuff. So we went into our friend's living room like 2 weeks before the festival, and she had some recording equipment, and we were like, well, let's just record some stuff. So we sat in her living room, we recorded vocals and ukulele, and we put that on the CD along with some other covers, and we sold it.
That's
so
awesome.
Everything on our EP that you're hearing right now is most of that original audio. All we did was take it into her studio with her dad.
So we did that, and then we came back here, and we were getting ready to go to New Zealand in January. The festival is in August. So July rather, we did that. September, October, we come back, and we were getting ready for our trip in January, and we wanted to add some spice to our recordings that we had made. So we took to my dad's home studio in Palm Beach and just added some. Our friend Jamie Smith, Wilma James, who does. She's a local musician.
Yep.
She added.
She did all of our bass lines.
She did some bass lines, and my dad like helped us add all the other like parts to the music and whatever. But we took the original, like the stems, the vocal and instrument stems from England.
All the stems
from 4 months earlier.
The only stem that changed was one song, and it was You. And we just re-recorded it. We recorded it because we thought we could maybe sing it a little better.
We just haven't recorded it yet.
Know?
We hadn't even recorded yet, and we did it, and we took it, and it was just really interesting to take this from here, from something we recorded in England, and take it from here 5,000 miles away, and
that was our first EP. I mean, we literally recorded it in our friend's living room and her dad's like garage studio.
Yeah,
that was our first EP.
It's so great too, because like
it's definitely very raw.
Yeah, but that's part of the magic, and part of the reason why I was able to sit here and close my eyes and it just sounded exactly the same. Jordan will tell you, like, she always is blown away by bands that sound like the record when live, and she, like, we'll go to concerts, she'll be like, oh my god, they sound just like the record. I love this.
And as a musician, I mean, I'm sure you guys both know, you guys all know, like, it's the best thing ever when you go see a band live and they sound like you want them to sound like.
Right.
Yeah,
it's so satisfying.
Even if they sing it like different, if they take different choices and like take it somewhere else, but like it still
you
sounds
have
the
that
same
satisfaction, yes,
and that same sort of quality of performance. Like, it's very disappointing to me. One of the easiest ways for me to feel disrespect for a musician is when I hear them recorded and then I hear them live and I'm like,
same.
Yeah,
ruins it.
Totally. It's like you have so great. You sound good in production, but like literally, so does everybody else.
I can sing better than you.
This is actually like the weird. It's probably not the weirdest comparison in the world, but it is a comparison, I guess. We were watching a drag queen show earlier, and like
RuPaul.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yes, and like it's all great.
It's a show favorite.
Yeah.
For sure, we love it.
Brad
we love
loves
it.
it too.
We're about
I
it.
just
We're
think
like,
when
yes,
queens don't know
we
their
love-
words.
But yeah, but if you have
yeah.
like one thing and you gotta know your words, I mean that's like
you
your one
it's like
damn
listen,
job,
queen,
you know.
you wrote this verse.
Like if
You
I'm like
wrote
watching
this
your
verse
mouth
with
and
your
you're
own
not
words.
doing, and it's like your song that you wrote specifically for the show and you can't even get those words right, like it's my biggest pet peeve, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like the same way that I feel like if I am not like delivering to like our audience in that way, like if somebody asks me to learn a song and I don't give it my like absolute all and I don't like sit, I mean sometimes we'll sit to learn one song and we'll sit for 3-4 hours because we just
Yeah.
want to get like all those parts so right. We want to get the perfect harmony and the perfect arrangement and everything so that that can come across so great for that person, you know.
Yeah.
And like I think that's our biggest thing is that we just try to be those people.
Yeah.
And it's evident. It shows absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I do have some questions. Oh boy.
Well, answer all of
I'm
them. Bring them
excited.
on.
Let's
Oh,
go.
boy.
If you can tell so far, we're very chatty.
It's awesome though, because sometimes we gotta like squeeze our guests to like get anything out.
You'll never have to worry about that. We're two Leos, all right? August 11th, August 12th.
Oh, God.
You gotta tell us to shut up.
Wait, your guys' birthdays are day apart?
One day apart.
One day apart.
amazing.
I mean, we couldn't have known. I don't know. Maybe our moms planned it. Who knows?
When I met her, I was like, "Hey, girl, when's your birthday?" Because that's me. And she was like, "August 11th." And I was like, "No way! Oh my god,
Not possible.
no way!"
That is crazy.
So carry on, please. I want to know the question.
Well, yeah. So
yes.
The Little Things has been a Treasure Coast mainstay for a long time. You guys have been around on the music scene,
Yeah.
not just Treasure Coast, but everywhere.
Yeah.
So take me back to the beginning. I kind
Ooh.
of know this now, but take us back to the beginning. How did the Little Things come together?
So
Wow.
before Katy and Shanece ever met each other, me being Katy and that being Shanece, as I know you know, I had.
Wait, are you Katy?
Wait, I thought it was Shanece.
I thought you were hungry.
I'm confused.
I was hungry earlier. Now I'm tired. Now I'm confused. So I come from a very musical family. My parents were Treasure Coast band forever, jukebox band.
Royalty,
Pat
Gigi King and Pat Channing. Yeah.
Them's is the ones.
Them's is the ones.
I got
you
lucky.
You old school people out there
I
that
got lucky.
You old
guys
school
know. You guys know.
Yeah, and so I grew up in a very musical family that wasn't super abnormal for me. But then one day, me and my friend, we were a very weird group of people, and we decided we were like, let's learn how to play music. I don't know. And she's like, I've got an electric guitar, and she picked up her guitar and she's like, this is fucking hard. I hate it. Let's do something else. And I was like, what if we got ukuleles? And we just started like teaching ourselves how to play ukulele because we were bored. And then her and I stopped talking, and then we went to 60 Sundays.
Yep.
Actually, and John Sills was
Sills,
playing
sure.
there, and he was so good. And I went there with Jamie Smith.
And John Sills says to me at the time, I'm going to be real candid
Oh,
right
this is
now.
exactly what he said.
He says to me, hey, I've got these 2 lesbian friends that you need to meet. And you know, because I'm like his lesbian friend at the time, so he's like trying to connect all of his lesbian friends.
and he
And I'm
felt
like, okay, John, I guess I'll go.
Well,
know?
you gotta put them all together in a package.
Exactly.
You gotta get
know?
all the
That's what you
lesbians
do.
in one spot.
When you have gays, you just gotta put them all in the same
combine
place.
them, concentrated gays.
So I go to this show, you know.
He thought that Jamie and I were dating, which was not the case, but whatever. But like after we saw him perform, we were like, oh, we could do that. We were in Opus together. Like we can sing. I can play ukulele now. I can
Right.
teach you. Like and so we
and
started.
Jamie played the baritone with her. Too.
She played bass and guitar kind of, so I like led her more into understanding how to play baritone, and I was playing the concert, and we were kind of like half playing together, and then one thing led to another, and Shanece and I, we started dating.
Well,
and
actually, I was in a band at the
Oh, that's
time. I was a
right.
drummer in a band called the Sugar Skulls, and we came to that open mic. And because I had been hanging out there, and I said to my band, well, maybe let's go down there and see what it's about. So we went down there. I played drums,
Mhm.
and
we-
we did the band thing, and it was great. And I
And-
met her. It was a Halloween night, and I met her for the first time on Halloween night.
And
In
we-
2010. I know.
I was Magenta from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, nice.
Sure.
We're not going to get into that. But anyways, and so we met, we started dating, whatever. And then a year later, we moved to New Orleans, and Shanece actually, truthfully, had like a really intense panic attack and was kind of out of her own head and wasn't really much of a person. And I was trying to distract her and be like, hey, come back and do this stuff instead.
It's actually really strange of a story because I'd never really, Katy had been telling me
She was a
for all
drummer.
these years, like, anxiety, and I never really understood it.
Sure.
And then I went to New Orleans and whatever happened, and I had like a really intense panic attack, and then I was just down and out for like a year and a half. Like, I'm not even joking.
So
it was
she
like
was
teaching a baby how to be again.
So she was
Wow.
nothing.
Crazy. And she was the best thing ever because she was just like by my
Oh,
side.
stop
It's
it.
a weird like sob story, but it's so
Stop it.
good. Like because I mean I literally was like nothing, and then she.
But
So
she
was it the move, the transition to a new place?
I think just
It
know
was-
past traumas and stuff kind of
Yeah.
caught up to me, and then
It was just
all
like
hit
one
me at
moment.
once.
Yeah, compartmentalized and
Right.
then yeah.
And
no,
I had
that's-
never really
that's
dealt with
heavy.
it before, and then here it is, and it's all in my face, and I'm losing my mind, and I'm not eating. I got down. I think I started at like 135 pounds, and I got down to like 100 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, this
Wow.
is me at like 22, 23.
She was just like a tiny little
yeah,
thing, and I was like, you
it
need
was all over the
something-
place, and I had her.
I was like, you need something to distract yourself. I know that you're musical. I know that you're talented. I know that you're smart.
Right.
Like, I haven't
Never touched a drum. Never touched a string
stringed
instrument.
instrument.
Never like sang. Anything I ever know is like percussion. I went to school for drums and
Wow.
percussion.
And she was
No
going
kidding.
to. She was
Yeah.
working. No, you weren't
Yeah.
working at the time. We were just hanging out, and I was like, "Let me teach you how to play ukulele. What else are we gonna do with our time? Learn how to play ukulele. Who fucking cares? Whatever."
Good distraction, for
And
sure.
so I started teaching her how to play, and then one day, she was, because of her anxiety, leaving the house was really hard. We lived in the French Quarter in New Orleans on Royal Street, like
yeah.
in the middle
like
of
right
it
in
all.
the thick of it, and then I'm having like these
kidding.
intense
So, like, leaving the
anxiety
house- so-
attacks,
so,
right? Like
yeah.
what?
So yeah,
What's that?
leaving the house was really rough. But we had but we lived with a roommate who was cleaning his truck out, what we call Truck Norris. So he was cleaning Truck Norris, and it was parked across the street from our front door, which is very abnormal in a city to get a spot that's so close. But anyway, so he's cleaning, and I'm sitting on the porch with Shanice, and we're just like playing ukulele and kind of like fiddling through whatever
And
song.
like she had been teaching me for a few months, so like I
Not
know
even,
some
not
stuff,
even.
like maybe a month or two. So I like know some stuff, but not really
Yeah,
anything.
it wasn't great. We were
I'm like,
just
I'm
practicing.
struggling to make like an F chord still. Like anything bar, I'm like, I don't want to hear about it. Yeah.
And someone came by and went to tip us and was like, "Oh, where's your tip bucket?" And we were like, "What?"
What's a tip?
What?
Wait a
What?
second.
You want to give us
What
money?
is this?
You want to
Hold
give
on.
us money for being mediocre?
Sure, do this. So then the next day, we're like, we spent that night. We perfected the 4 songs that we knew, and then we're like, let's go out on the street and perform those 4 songs 3 times each, and just see what happens.
Right.
And we made like $40. Like someone came down and gave us 220s, and we were like, holy shit, we can do this.
I think that
This is a thing.
I think that
We
was
can
the
do
first
this!
moment that we thought we could do this because she taught me these 4 songs and I was like, okay, I feel confident enough with them. If I fuck up, whatever, I'll
Who
figure it
cares?
out.
Because people are just
But
walking past.
and we're
you know?
literally
Right,
we're
sure.
like we won't go anywhere crazy or drastic. We'll stand like in front of our front door, which is right in the middle of the quarter anyway, so it doesn't
Oh,
really
God.
matter.
To be a time traveler, to like go back and see you now, just stand on the corner and be like,
yeah.
that's what you think.
Yeah, exactly. So
Listen,
we're
girl.
standing there and we're playing like Mr. Brightside and
Yeah, it was
like
like
whatever
nothing.
4 chord songs that we knew at the time. And we're playing, and then the first day we do it, we made like $11. We're like, that's dope. The second day we made like $50 or $60.
That's right.
And we were like,
The first day we
let's
went out,
do this all the time.
we made $11, and we were like, lunch
We were like
for free.
We were like ecstatic. We're like, man, every time we want to go do anything, we could come out here and play music, and people would just pay for our things. Like New Orleans was like our like ATM, you know.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
So we did that.
Yeah.
So we got more serious about it. Obviously, we
Sure.
learned more
Yeah.
music, and we became more dedicated to like taking certain times to busking. And
I think that this change was somebody one day was like, "Hey, do you want to play inside? I
that was
have
what
a bar."
it was. Well, actually,
Yeah.
even before that, do you remember?
The museum.
The museum.
Yeah,
There was a
yeah.
museum.
This is funny.
Like, so if you can imagine a block as a square,
Sure.
we're at this, like on the top part of the square, and on the other, like directly on the other side was this museum. It was like a cultural like remembrance place, the Beauregard Keys Museum, and I think that's what it's called. And the woman walked past us because it was around the corner. There's a grocery store there, and she's like, "Oh, hey, girls are really good. How much do you want to play? How much would it cost to get you guys to come and play in our museum?" And we were like, "We only know 5 songs. We don't."
Got to be real honest with you.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything. But so she sent us an email, and she
She
said,
did.
"How?" And so we were like, we asked our performer friends, "How much does it cost for like 3 hours in a museum?" And our friend was like, $350. And I was like, "No,
There's no way. There's no way.
no."
And look, this is
can't
not a
ask
good
that.
ending to the story because there wasn't no way. It was not gonna happen. We were like, yeah, you need to pay us like $350 or we're not even gonna.
They never
be
messaged us
there.
back.
They literally never messaged us back. We were definitely being too overzealous, you know. Like
hey, but you know what? Like, aim high, and then you know what your
Yeah,
limits
for
are.
sure. And you know what? Like a week
Otherwise, you
later,
sell yourself short.
like a week
Yeah.
later, we did a 2-hour gig for like $75.
And we were like, yes.
And we're like, we did it inside. We got $75. We got tipped. You know what I mean? We walked away with like maybe $100 or like just about or something like that.
Yeah.
And we felt so on top of the world for making that $100.
Awesome.
And like now,
Yeah.
oh my God, no.
It's
There's no way in hell.
So where did it come from? It
But
came
we paid
from
the dues. We paid the dues. We did the thing.
It came
and that's
from
the whole
an
point of the
anxiety
story.
attack led to like needing a new hobby, and then we started busking, and then someone said play here, and we were like, and then someone said play here, and we were like, okay. Our very first gig
We
that
had
we
to
ever got
audition.
hired for
Yeah.
was a funeral.
No kidding.
No fucking joke. So we were busking, as I
That's
said
by the way,
1,000
that
times.
sounds so New Orleans. Like,
Right?
It's
Girl.
very Cajun.
Sorry, I'm just
it-
gonna say girl all the time. I don't mean you. I'm sure. It's my thing.
It's okay. Like I said, I'm up to date on Drag Race. So
I love it. I love it.
we sit
Okay,
and call
so-
each other girl all the
right.
time.
So
Listen,
girl. So girl. Let me tell you.
So like so if you know NOLA culture, like a wedding parade, funeral parade, baby shower parade, divorce parade. Like anything.
I woke up
parade.
today. Parade.
Yeah. So it was actually a very sort of tragic story, but we were on the street and some local for WGNO a guy saw us and he was like, "Oh, you girls are great. I want to feature you on News with a Twist because it's like the news, but like
Local
not
news.
Ah.
Specifically local to New Orleans.
Right. So
Very
it was like
local.
News with a Twist. So we did a little thing, if I will.
You see
a
what
little
they're doing
thing.
here?
A little thing.
So we did a tiny thing and a tiny situation, and we were on the news where we were just like talking and being weird or whatever, and this woman messaged us and was like, me and my fiance saw you guys on the news, and he said I want them to play at our wedding. I want them so badly. They're so good. They can do Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's
This
my
is real
favorite.
sad
I
shit.
love Ukulele. I love that song. And so she reached out to us because he then died
He went to sleep one night and just didn't wake
and like
up.
just died in his sleep.
Like the day after was going to be their wedding,
And
and like
so-
he just
and
didn't
so-
wake up.
so she
And so she
messaged
had to
us.
change it from the wedding to the funeral or
so
something.
It was the same
Yeah.
wedding day. She wore her wedding dress. They were at the wedding place, but they just had a funeral
Oh,
second
funeral
line.
because he just didn't wake up, and he was like not even. He was like maybe 45 or 40, like not
Wow.
even
He's
that
like a young
old.
dude.
He was really young, and like it just freak accident, and we ended up just playing like this couple's funeral that they were supposed to be married on this day, but she had
was-
to like bury him on this.
And that was our first gig as the Little
and that was
Things.
like our first gig ever, our first paid gig ever
Oh,
as the Little Things
wow.
was these people's not
Wedding
wedding,
funeral.
but funeral.
Wedding funeral, yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was, and so in, I
And they
don't-
were sweet. She was so sweet, and they invited us back to the house after, and we hung out.
the
for a
thing
little
with
bit, but
like
man.
what's called a second line. I don't know if you guys know any of this,
like
but
a parade.
Yeah, like a parade.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So like you meet up and then you second line to a place and then
Right.
you go and then you party at the place. So we met up on a bridge where they were meant to get married, and it was like. It was so,
So sad.
moving. We were like trying to sing,
Yeah,
but
we
like
were
not
crying.
cry because we didn't know these
Wholeheartedly.
people. But like,
Like we had no idea. We met them today, and we're like into it. We can't even sing our songs because
And then
it's
we-
like the saddest shit.
and then we're
fucking
like
ever.
second lining, like parading down back to their house, and everybody's like, they had the Mardi Gras Indians and everything. It was really
Yeah.
touching.
And like all I
So
could think of the whole
wild.
time is like, okay, I mean, we've been together for almost 10 years. What if I just woke up one day and she just was not awake anymore?
Yeah, so it was,
and then
it
I
was-
had to like plan this whole thing. You know, like that was
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah,
It was-
take that and then times it by getting married the next day.
A million.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. How do
Oh
you
my
even?
God.
How do you know? And so we tried to be like the best we could be, but you know,
so we
there's so
second
much you
lined
could
and we
do.
like sang and it was like a celebration. It definitely wasn't like a. I mean, everyone was super miserable because I mean this person has died and that's like that's not a good
Right.
thing. But it was much more a celebration of life and much more a like
yeah.
let's make the best of what we because it was such a freak accident.
So that was our
That's
first
so
gig.
wild.
So that was how we started.
Literally,
as Little
Unbelievable.
Things.
The Little Things.
We sat in our front
Started
stoop,
with a funeral.
sat on our front stoop, played a few songs, and then one woman hired us.
Next thing
to
we know,
play
we're playing a
her
funeral.
husband's funeral, and that was our first gig. That was literally our first gig as the Little Things. And I mean, the Little Things only came about because one day we're sitting in our front room in New Orleans
And
in the quarter apartment,
And
we're
the
like,
the rain was coming off of the. We had like a sort
Yeah.
of balcony cover.
and I mean,
what is
you
it,
know,
awning?
not to be like
like an
real,
awning or something like that.
Awning is
yeah.
the
not
word.
to be like really real, but man, we were like baked.
We were very stoned, but the rain was falling off of the awning in like little perfect like streams. Because I mean, it was It was like winter. It was after
we're in a
fall.
balcony apartment, you know, so we're like up at the top and we're seeing it all happen. And then
It was
we're
like
like
the
talking
little
about like what
lines.
should we name ourselves? Because if we're gonna do this, we should have a name. We can't be like Katy Shanece, right? We should have like a name. And then you said the little things, I think.
Well,
you said the little things.
You had an album on Facebook of a bunch of photos from, this is so stupid, from a bunch of photos that we had taken from New Orleans, and you're like, it's the little things. And I'm like, it really is the little things, like the way that the rain falls off and the perfect beads off of the awning,
and the way that we even like practice music together, and we like communicate with each other,
and we have to stop practicing because a tuba is walking down the street and we just gotta wait for the second line to pass, or like the single person or whatever.
And that's kind of just how the little things were born. We were just sitting there baked as fuck, like
That's amazing.
you're talking about it.
I love it.
Awesome.
I could have sat here and thought about every scenario or every story that you were going to tell me tonight, and I never would have come up with that. That's wild.
It's New Orleans, you know.
It's
You
so
never
crazy.
know with New Orleans. Everybody says so. It's like, how is New Orleans? Like, how was that for you? You guys were like, I mean, I could
I
try to
don't know.
explain it to you, but like,
Unpredictable.
yeah. You have to
Unpredictable is the word.
absolutely go there and experience it on your own.
Jordan and I, we went up there.
When did you guys go? I feel like you've been there. You've
Yeah,
said so much.
we've been there. I guess it was a few years ago.
Yeah,
now.
we went, well, my
Yeah.
birthday's like right around Mardi Gras.
Oh, happy
so-
birthday.
oh, thanks. Yeah.
I have friends
So
that live.
and then he has friends that live there.
Friends
so.
that live up there, friends from like Baton Rouge that
We
come
went,
down
like-
for Mardi Gras.
It's close enough.
It was
It's
like
an hour.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say. Maybe,
Yeah.
Right.
It
Did you
was-
guys go down to like into the city?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
I mean, we-
participated in Mardi Gras. I stole beads off of the ground because
Yeah,
I'm a cheap
I
slut.
I told
Yeah.
her it
Sanitize
was a
on those
no-no.
You know what? I would like to say it's not very sanitary, but I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you're on
Listen,
vacation. It's
Pre
fine.
coronavirus and all that stuff, we used to walk down Bourbon Street. We used to work. We're not going to get into that right now. But we used to work on Bourbon Street, and people would always try to throw us beads. And they like try to throw beads, and then if we decided to wait for them and they hit the ground, we'd be like, thanks, and like
Yeah.
carry on.
You missed.
And people would be like,
We
oh,
would always be like,
the tourist-
tourist money. We don't want your beads. We want your money.
Of course.
And then they would crumple up like $20 bills or whatever and
Chop
throw
it
them
down.
at us. And we're
Wait,
like,
but,
That's
thank
the way
you.
to do it.
But
Yeah.
if they threw us beads and they landed on the floor, the tourists would be like, oh, let me get the beads. And I was like, you don't fucking know what is on this ground.
Don't fucking touch
Yeah.
it.
Bourbon Street is disgusting.
Yeah.
Like
you
the
don't
little
want those beads.
The little puddles on Bourbon Street is literally like I don't even know.
It's 200 years
Piss-
old.
get in there.
Piss
Yeah,
and throw up
exactly.
and shattered dreams.
We always-
Yeah,
My-
and
my
like
advice-
bright green.
Shattered-
They're always bright green. You
Shattered
don't know why,
dreams.
but they always are.
No.
I always
Always
told
green.
everybody when they come to New Orleans, put your wallet in a place that you're not used to having it, so that you're used to like you can touch
Feeling
it
it.
there.
Feeling it, yeah.
And also never step in the puddles. You don't know what they're made of.
Yeah.
It's good advice.
Don't wear flip flops. Don't wear flip flops.
No open-toed shoes in
Yeah,
New
closed-toed
Orleans.
shoes. Yeah,
no.
we also saw Mystical. He's in a
Oh,
brass
yeah.
band
Oh,
or a
yeah.
jazz
He's in
band.
a
Yeah.
big band
Or,
up there.
Wow.
Yeah, Mystical. Woo, that,
Cool.
I was
Didn't
really
play it,
hoping
yeah.
he was gonna do his throwback tunes, but like jazzy.
Yeah.
But he
He-
didn't.
he
but
didn't
it was
do
still
it.
Ah,
it
what
was
a shame. What a
There's
missed opportunity.
There's
I
a
j-
lot of New Orleans bands that come down to
missed-
Florida.
a mystical
to go-
opportunity. Missed opportunity.
A mystical
Wait a
opportunity.
minute.
Tried.
A mystical opportunity.
There's a lot of bands actually from New Orleans that come down, that go down to Key West, and they play at the Green Parrot. And one of those bands is Johnny Sketch and the Dirty Notes, and we actually did a record with them. And we just did like backup vocals and ukulele, but you know, Mark Parody is one of our greatest friends, and a lot of those bands came down here, or do still come down here. I mean, when things
Well,
are
I mean,
better.
I honestly, I feel like Key West is our New Orleans here.
I
in
didn't say that.
Florida,
It's like
you know?
cleaned up New Orleans. It's like New Orleans, but like clean.
Yeah.
Sort
Like
of.
somebody actually sweeps the street. Well, no, because you don't think Key West is really that dirty, but
Yo, they
trust
street-
me, it is like sparkling.
They
compared
sweep the
to
streets
what-
in New Orleans,
That's
so you
fair.
can't get rid of that gunk.
Yeah, that's for sure. I do have to ask though.
Yes, anything.
In New Orleans.
Yes.
Did you ever come across Dan the Shoe Shine Man?
Oh Jesus.
Oh God, so many shoe shine mans.
Who is Dan the Shoe Shine?
I
Who
mean,
is-
like one
who-
of many, one of like a million hundred of
But
them.
who in particular is Dan?
So
Oh,
Dan,
boy.
we were walking to meet some friends for dinner.
Where?
Not on Bourbon. We were
In the quarter?
Yeah, in the quarter.
Yeah.
And
I don't even
we were
remember.
just walking, and I was wearing like Vans, like
Yeah.
sneakers, you know. And
I bet you Tower got them shoes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet you taking out the shoes, and then they clean it. So
And the best part was
pay
that
me for those shoes now.
let me tell you what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please
I
finish,
clean them,
please finish.
pay them. I clean them. You owe me $5. You owe me $10, right?
I gave.
Oh,
I
it
ga-
was even better.
Yeah.
Go on, please finish the story.
Yeah,
So
Sorry.
I
he
wanna
goes.
hear.
He goes on this whole tirade. He's complimenting her. He's going on this whole
that's
thing,
that's what they
and he's
do.
like, "Now."
He
And-
has this whole like rhyme. He's all like, oh,
it's a rap.
and,
It's always a poem.
Girl,
Yeah.
it's what they do. It's
Yeah.
how
And
they know. It's the
it
hustle.
starts-
It's the hustle.
It starts with just like, hey, what's up? let me tell you what's a duck. And you're like, wait, what?
And then he was speaking so fast and so like.
Yeah, you get lost, and if you don't know any better, honestly,
I couldn't even understand
you
him.
get lost
I was
in
like,
it.
I don't know.
So
and
you
then
guys
all
are-
of a sudden, this guy's like cleaning your goddamn shoe,
Oh,
and then
oh,
he's
yeah.
asking you for money.
So he goes through the whole thing. Now these sneakers that I was wearing on my feet, I got them in the Netherlands. Like I
how
got
full
them,
circle is that? Right?
I got them in Rotterdam. So he goes, I bet I could guess where you got your shoes. And I was like,
And
I
both of
bet
us
you
were
can't.
like, okay.
Good
Yeah.
fucking luck.
But that's a lie.
So
That's what gets you in
he
there.
gives us
Of
the whole
course.
thing. He's like, now, do you want me to tell you where you got your shoes? And I was like, yes, I do. And he's like, you got them on your goddamn feet.
Yep.
And I was like, and I knew that there was a $20 bill leaving my pocket.
You know what though? And
You're
I will-
smarter than
I
the
will
average
say,
bear.
yes, you are smarter than the average bear. Right when that happened, and the fact that you even knew that makes you smarter than any
Well,
other
what's
person.
funny though is redemption came the next day.
Oh, yeah, this was
we were
great.
at Café du Monde.
Oh,
As
okay.
you were.
And they had, they have that little courtyard up there, and so
Right.
we were sitting in it, and these guys were running this game
Everywhere.
I didn't realize there were so many Dan
It's
Dan the Shoe
everywhere.
Shine Men.
Yeah.
So they're running this game, and he makes this guy comes over to me, and he's like, "Hey, man."
Bet you got them shoes.
And I was like, "Yeah, I got them on my goddamn feet." And he just gave me a wink and a pistol shoot and carried on. And
That's
I was
what
like,
you do. You learn real quick. You know what? But the thing is, most people don't learn that quick, and they get hustled so many times. But and it's sad
Oh,
because
yeah,
like
you get hustled more than once
Oh,
with
yeah.
that.
I
with
had-
that.
it's
I-
real
our
sad because
friend-
there are kids on Bourbon who do like to tap dance. I'm sure you guys
Yeah.
saw them with the like can
Ooh, this is so
sodas
fucked
crushed
up.
under
Oh, yeah.
their feet. And then they pickpocket people and stuff because you know what is all they know how to do. That's
I,
what
there was
that's
there was
what
a,
they know
there was
how
a
to do.
scam
Wild.
going around for a while where it wasn't just the tap dancers; it was like other kind of people. In case you kind of people.
You might want to sanitize these when we're done.
They get replaced for every person that
I
talks to
love
them.
it.
I just
love
throw
it.
away the whole fucking mic cover. But there's a whole bunch of like shitty hustler people, kids, adults, whatever, who they were going around for a while with razors or like box cutters in their pockets, and they would cut the bottom of your back pocket
No
so your
way.
wallet would fall out,
Yeah.
and they could pick it up off the
So
ground.
somebody would be in front
and
of
then-
you talking to you, and the other person.
and
would be
then
behind
it
you.
wasn't stealing. It wasn't pickpocketing.
It was finders keepers.
It was finders
Yeah.
keepers.
Wow.
Exactly. Where
That's
somebody
important
just
in America.
Yeah, it's
That's
because
a
you
big
learn.
deal.
You
know.
learn. You definitely learn the system, and you know how to breach it. You know what I mean? And like, you know what? Like I said again, it's all these kids know. So like, we can't even blame them because it's what they're thrown into. They don't have really
Totally.
a choice.
Yeah,
you
it's
know, and like
wild.
people want to be angry at them and upset at them, but they're just thrown in.
No, that's
Imagine
straight
as
out
a
of
10-year-old
Oliver.
kid.
we had a
getting
friend,
thrown into this life. Like
we had
you don't
friends
know
who
what
were
else to do.
teachers who had their kids that were doing that kind of stuff, and they were like, "We're doing it to pay my electric bill or whatever."
Yeah,
I mean,
they're doing
Right.
it to like pay their
The-
like house bills and stuff like that.
I
shit
mean,
like that,
the
you know?
inequality and all of the struggles of the politics and government of New Orleans is not at all we're about to get into right now.
Ah,
So like
sure.
it was totally like validated in lots of different ways, but it's still really sad that people.
Well,
were-
what it comes down to is the truth is there's a massive problem.
Yeah.
And there's a massive divide in classes, and it forces people into life like that. And it
Yeah.
becomes
I mean,
generational,
Yeah.
It becomes instituted
I did this,
into growing
or
up.
like
you
an
know?
older brother
It's
does this, and
literally-
the younger
I mean,
brother has to do this.
Like
and- or
literally,
sister
I'm
or
not
whatever.
gonna make it
Sure.
about politics, but I will just say this really quickly. It's literally what we're living right now with the whole Black Lives Matter movement. It's
Sure.
a division of people. You know.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just all, that's all it is.
You know,
If
and
you-
They
it's a-
don't know
it's-
any better.
yeah,
This is
but
what they're
it's-
subjected to.
You know, it becomes political when politics gets involved.
And when
you
people
know?
are
But
saying
it's genuinely a social issue that
and when
needs to
people
be
are
dealt
saying
with socially.
it isn't because like I just felt this person was threatening, and it's like, what about this person did you find threatening,
Right.
sir?
Yeah.
Would you please like to elaborate?
You know, I mean,
But,
it's
you
all
know.
politics. We all know the politics that goes behind
It's wild,
all
man,
that.
and
Yeah, it's wild.
I'm a firm believer. Like it all comes back to education, and I'm not talking
Totally.
about going to first grade and learning
No.
colors, but like
It's about
it's
people.
real
Yeah,
education.
real
people
life.
educating other people, sure. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I remember, actually, this is a bit of a non sequitur, but I remember being in elementary
By the way,
school.
that's the word of the day. Non sequitur.
I said it
it
twice
will
now,
always
so-
be. It
I'll
will
keep
always
tabs.
be for us.
non sequitur.
All right, I'm gonna pour a drink while she's non sequitur.
Do it. Do
Thank
it.
you.
Sequitur-regating.
Well, I don't sequitur. She's going to definitely
Hold
pour
my
a drink.
sequitur.
I will hold your sequitur. Well, I non sequitur. I had a friend when I was in elementary school who was Jehovah's Witness, and she educated me on like what the I had no idea what a Jehovah's Witness was or like what that meant or anything like that. Can I have a drink too? Thank you.
While you're
Don't
there.
drink from
While
you.
you're there. Thanks, love.
Sensuous.
And I was asking her about like what it meant, and she told me that they don't celebrate holidays and they just kind of like worship. And I mean, bear in mind I was like 9 years old, so I don't really remember too much. But she's like telling me about it, and I remember asking her, I was like, "Are you Jehovah's Witness because this is something that you like, or is it because it's what your family tells you need to be?"
Right.
And she was like, well, both. I was like, okay, cool. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm certainly not like a religious person at all. I'm
Right,
just
but
curious.
you should always question the things that you are
as a 9-year-old,
you
you're
know,
like, Mom,
indoctrined
Dad,
with.
what's my religion?
Totally, right.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you?
But so she only went to school with us for another week. And then her parents pulled her out.
So she must have went home and said something.
Oh yeah, she said
Well,
something, and Katie was the fault of that.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it was because of me. I'm not going to say it was because of anything. But I thought it was very interesting that, like, I was asking her about it, and then her parents were like, you can't hang out with Katie anymore. We never hung out. We were just in the same class. And so
That's
we
wild,
like hung
man.
out on recess and like lunch or whatever. I'm literally
know
like
what?
9-10 years old. And I'm just like, why do you do that? I mean, maybe I shouldn't have
I
asked
feel
that.
like,
but-
and this goes without saying, but I feel like kids are like
What
the
is your religion
purest
as a
of
9-year-old?
people. Kids are like the purest of people. So when you meet kids and they're like speaking about this stuff, it's literally because they're like,
Well, yeah,
they're just curious. They're
That's
like,
it.
I don't know. You know,
And the
something-
thing is,
Yeah.
if you don't challenge people to think, then
what's the
we
point?
stop thinking.
Right. What's
Yeah.
the
And
point?
then,
Why
you
are
know,
we here? Why
that's
are we
it.
doing anything more important than ourselves and our individual
Yeah.
lives? You know.
And
I agree.
That's all I was trying to say. It's just like, is this something that you believe in, or is it just something that you follow because? And like to be fair, at the point I was going to church with my family just because it was what my family did.
Right.
And,
I mean,
and that
same-
was and
same for
I
me.
knew I didn't really, I guess, fully understand. I mean, I'm only 9. I don't know what my concept of reality was.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
but I was just
Wait, are you
saying.
sure?
I mean, no, sir, I'm not. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how I worded it, but I remember her talking to me about the Holocaust and stuff, and I was like, "Wait, are you Jewish?" And she's like, "No, but like my people." And I'm like,
What?
"There's more than 2 religions." I was like, I was so confused. Like I had no idea what the world was. I mean,
Right.
I was such a small-minded like child.
Well, sure.
But
you
and
know,
so
it's
I
like
was
a
just
blank
like-
canvas at that point. you
Totally.
know?
And I was like, "Do you like not celebrating birthdays?" And she was like, "I don't know. I just don't." And I'm like, "But wouldn't you want to?"
Yep.
I certainly wasn't trying to challenge her. You know,
But it
I
made
wasn't
her-
like,
it
"What's
made
your
her-
religion?"
But you were because that's
made her
what
think.
humans do.
Yeah.
Like we challenge each other. You know?
I don't think,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, nothing against religious people or whatever, like, to each their own.
Mhm.
I just feel like just because you grew up in something and your parents believe in that thing doesn't mean that you are obligated to be that person.
What's funny? It's like the Amish.
Yeah.
You know, when they
Yeah.
reach a certain
they-
age, they say, "Hey,
They have a year.
go and check it out.
And
Get
that's-
out there
that-
and go see what it's all about."
Do you
Listen,
want to be Amish?
People
or what?
can say what they want about the Amish, but that is amazing to me.
I tell you what,
That's amazing
those
because you
people
know
up
what?
in Lancaster, they know what they're doing.
And
up
you
there.
can leave. You have the choice to leave, and a lot of people do. And
Yep.
you know, there's whole documents, and I'm sure that it's not as great as I'm making it sound to be right now, but at least you have the choice to be yourself at
Right.
some point.
Yo, we just
You
watched
know?
a documentary on Scientology.
Oh,
Oh,
my
boy.
God, it's weird. It's the weirdest thing
Is
ever.
it with the girl from King of Queens?
It is with
Queen
Tom
of-
Cruise
Yes.
doing his Tom
Yeah.
Cruise
Yeah.
thing.
That's a crazy
Well, so
story.
I think I
It's
don't know if it
weird.
was. I
It's
don't
a
know if it was
weird thing.
There's a
Weird.
woman, a female actress whose name I will not be able to remember. I've tried.
Oh,
It's,
Leah
it's-
Remy or
yeah.
Remy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Leah Remy or
Remy,
Remy
or
or
Remy,
Remy.
yeah.
Ryan.
She has a Netflix.
King of Queens wife.
Yeah.
Is that her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
She's
her.
got a Hulu
Yeah.
special where she interviews people who've left the religion as well. But like we watched this movie called, God, I can't remember what it's called, but Going Clear.
Oh, yes.
I haven't seen that.
It was super interesting, and it was about people. It was not like a dog on, like it wasn't a negate or like a neg on Scientology. It was simply educational, and that was the thing that I was very curious on. Is like, what the fuck is Scientology? When
Yeah,
we
I
go to
didn't know yet.
Edinburgh.
Uh-huh.
And we stay there. The road that leads to the high street. There's this thing. There's a big sign that's like free personality test, and then it's like
It's Scientology,
It's like
yeah.
a secret.
What a
like,
way to bring you in.
Right.
there's
Exactly.
like the tiniest
You
little font that's like
manipulative
Church of
bitch.
Scientology. It's like a secret. They're like
It's like you're like ex-manipulative girlfriend who's just like trying to like she knows exactly what to say to you to get you back in there. You know?
And
The
so
greatest salesman.
yeah, exactly.
My
And you're
my
like, okay, I
ex-girlfriend,
guess
yeah.
I will. I guess a little, but you don't ever want to.
So there was I saw that, and like I had heard about it, and I've spoken to my God, I'm not going to get into that right now. But I've spoken to some really ignorant people who are saying a lot of stupid shit. And I was like, what the hell is Scientology? Like, what is this?
Like, still, even after watching that documentary, I don't know about you, but I do not understand it. I don't understand it.
No, you got to go and join the church, and then they'll find out, and then you have to go through the
money.
the
You have to pay
levels.
$100,000.
One of the biggest things about Scientology, the only thing that really like stuck with me that I learned from watching that is if you look at a Scientology gathering, it looks like the Grammys or something. Everybody
Right.
Oh yeah, it's super
so much
Deck to the
money.
nines, yeah, sure.
So much money. People are dressed in nines. It looks like you're like. It
It's
just
a
looks
very-
insane. It looks like
it's
I wouldn't even
money.
be able to
It
fit
looks
it.
like
Even if
money.
I wanted, even if I was like, you know what, yeah, this resonates with me. I want to be a Scientologist. I don't think I could afford it.
I'm not rich enough to be a fucking Scientologist.
Yeah, no.
So we read
They need to come up with like Scientology Light.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
I might-
like apps, right? Like we have Scientology Live.
Yeah.
like the free
Exactly.
Scientology
Let
and
me
then
get
the one
the
you
free
pay
trial.
the one you pay $12.99 a month for.
Yeah.
And so like they were, but the thing that was craziest about that to me is like you go and they basically grill you and like I don't know if you guys have seen this or you know anything about this.
I did not. We have the
Initiation.
Scientology channel.
it's
I've watched a couple of those.
It's
but
actually just
that
like
really
sort
puts
of-
it in a great light, though.
It's
It's
So
actually
it's
just
sort
on
of like-
Netflix, so you can like watch it whenever you want. But
So it's sort of like it's 1/3 lie detector, 2/3 basically bullshit. But you hook this thing up to your body.
the machine.
Yeah, and you hold these things with your
The
hands.
machine.
It's
And then that's the
machine.
part that is kind of part lie detector where it like reads your
but
pulse.
everybody has to do this. So if
Yeah,
you're
and-
into Scientology,
and
you
it-
have to do.
No
You have to
matter who
undergo
you
these
are.
tests.
You have
Yes.
to you have to do it on both sides.
Yes.
But like so the introductory part of it is that you do this and then it like there's a bullshit detector basically that says like you're being honest, you're being neutral, or you're talking about something that doesn't have anything to do with you. Doesn't mean that you're lying, but what they think is that like there are aliens and past lives that are like invading your body, and now you are speaking on these other things.
Oh,
Well, that's
boy.
logical. That makes sense to me. I
But
mean,
like the thing,
You know what, Jeff? Get out! Get out right now.
The thing that lures people
Just
in is
kidding.
that they think, and the thing that is most appealing to everybody, I would imagine, about Scientology is that it's like it makes you better so that the world can be better.
Right.
Okay, so if you are a better person, and I believe this,
I
if
agree
you are a
with
better
that,
person,
yeah.
the world. If every individual person is better, then the world will be better, right?
no,
Sure.
but
And that is
Which
the,
is
like,
why
that is the
people get so
lure.
easily lured into it because they
Right.
give you these ideas and you're like, yeah, that's a great thing to think about.
it
I would
appeals
totally wanna
to
be-
all the
Yeah.
good things we try to do.
Fundamentally.
but
Exactly. Like
it's
I want to be that.
nonsense.
But you know what? Also, you know what? Who else does that? But even better is Satanist.
we're,
So-
if you're gonna be a fucking religion, be a Satanist.
Yeah, honestly, and it's like it's like where's the line drawn? So it's like it's a weird thing, but
It's
yeah.
it's the ultimate
Yeah.
level of marketing
Yes,
that
exactly.
exists.
Totally,
And
totally,
it's,
totally.
And it's such an interesting thing because sometimes you have to dissect things. So you take a look back at how they're acquiring these people or bringing them into their products essentially or their business, man. And then it's like man, that's pretty good execution.
It
I
appeals
get it.
to
I get the
basis
appeal.
of
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
They
desire.
do what they do, you know what I mean? And they know how to do it well, and they're
But-
manipulative masters.
But bear this in mind, right? So we watched this entire hour-and-a-half long documentary on Scientology, right?
Right.
And then we followed it up with, just for yucks, we followed it up with an hour-and-a-half documentary on flat earthers, but we're not going to get into
To even
that.
it out.
You guys,
Even it
you
out.
guys were having an evening. That's for sure. That's what was happening.
You know what though? It was a frustrating.
You learned
as fuck
you learned a
thing.
lot.
No, I didn't
was
learn,
really
I didn't
frustrating.
learn anything, to be honest with you.
But, like,
as
so-
a matter of fact, I felt like I wasted 3 hours of my whole life.
Lost some brain cells there.
But like we're super open-minded. We're very like interested in
Because
things
you
that
know
we
what?
might not like
Right.
pointedly identify with.
If you
but,
don't
like,
believe in something, maybe you should educate yourself, and maybe there might be points. And there were certainly
When I-
moments
when
where I
I
was
was-
like, okay, I could see why people would believe this.
but like
Sure.
also you're garbage.
But also you're garbage.
When I was 5 years old, I was watching Cats before it was the stupid movie.
Uh-huh.
I was watching the musical on PBS, and I was
Right.
like,
It feels like you need
I was
this.
like, these cats. Thank you. It's like these cats are
It's all
singing.
fired up.
yeah, she needs a drink.
I'm talking about cats. That's how you know
This
you need
is
to drink.
serious.
And I was like, if they're singing a whole song about this fucking cat that they hate, and my grandmother, I love her, small, kind of closed-minded grandmother, was like,
As her
well,
generation is.
Sure,
whatever.
of course.
She's
Right.
born in the 30s. All you can do is hope. And she was like, well, you have to know a lot about something to say that you hate it. And I was like, Okay.
Seems to resonate pretty well.
I'm 5. I hear you.
And that also seems to be the
20 years
theme of
later.
90% of the Netflix documentaries out there today.
That I watch.
Exactly.
And so we watched the Scientology Flat Earthers, and then we watched this documentary called Hail Satan? Question mark at the
Question
end.
mark.
What I need
Yeah.
to do is I need to get down on your Netflix watch list there.
No, I'm telling you.
But
I'm
like-
telling you.
Tapping
In
in.
all seriousness, if you watch that Hail Satan documentary,
It's just about like
you would be
people-
like, yeah, I'm a fucking Satanist.
Right.
It's not.
I am.
I'm not.
'Cause
I'm not.
It's not about worshiping Satan as much. So it's like people just peg that word to
Sure.
these people.
It actually, the religion has
You
nothing
know.
to do with the with Satan, whatever.
anything
Right.
like at all. It's just so separate. It's
But no,
just,
I
you know?
completely agree with that sentiment. Like, if you're gonna look at something and say, I don't like that, you should really have a
Know
pretty
what you're talking
firm
about.
grip on what that is.
and that's
And
exactly
why you
Otherwise-
don't like it.
yeah.
and that's
Otherwise, it's
exactly
just
where
being
we're coming
ignorant,
from.
yeah.
It's just from a
Totally,
place of
totally.
like, we're not educated about these things and we feel so strongly against it. Why?
No,
we have
what-
no idea.
You know
so we
what, you
should
guys
educate ourselves.
take some notes and watch some documentaries and make some decisions
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on some real information, or at least any information whatsoever. You know,
Totally. I'm
Other
not.
than assumption.
I'm not trying to convert anybody to. I'm
No, it's
definitely
good.
not a big fan of like.
Oh, we're not religious at all.
I think
in
that you
any
should feel how you
way.
feel and whatever, and like if religion makes you feel better or believing the earth is flat makes you feel better, whatever, just be a good person and
Yeah.
wash your hands.
Yep.
And
But-
stay away from me. Like, don't breathe in between 6 feet between
Yeah.
me and you and your
But
friend.
but it was just very, very interesting to like look into something that I had never had, because like the things that we write songs about and the things that we talk about and our whole life experiences are based on our experiences.
Sure, absolutely.
So, and I know that my experience is limited to my perspective is limited to my experience, and
Sure.
like I can only see however many things I can process in a day, and like however much I travel and whatever. So
And,
it's
like, you know, a
it's
big-
good to like learn about things, because like I had never thought about any of these things, you know.
Like, I feel like a
Right.
big part
I don't
of
know
your
things.
like life and your influences too. Like somebody said this to me the other day, and I really believe this to be true. Is that, you know, when we're on our Facebooks and we're seeing that news, it's all geared to you. It's
Of
your
course.
friends and your family.
Yeah.
And like, yes, you do have like the one person here and there that are like not into it, but like most of the time it's you and your little bubble with your friends who feel the same way as you. So you have no idea what's going on exterior to that bubble.
Sure.
So like that's the hardest thing I think for me to process, is just like sometimes I think, yeah, I'm righteous about this and my friends are feeling that way.
Everybody
So
feels this way.
I'm that way and everybody feels this way. And then I go, no, actually I'm in my
Which is
little
my
bubble
internet
still.
bubble.
Yeah.
And like just because it's on online doesn't mean it's not still in my bubble.
Yep,
You know, there's so
you're
many
right.
people. There's millions of people out there that feel completely different than me. And I should maybe educate myself on that before I even make any opinions whatsoever.
We did meet somebody who was like, have you ever been on a plane and you look out and the earth looks kind of like flat? And I'm like,
no, I have
Not
not.
No.
once.
I have not.
No.
Once I went on the plane and I looked at the earth and I went, wow,
It's so
the earth
round.
is fucking round.
It's so round. Look at how round it is. Look at that curve.
It's
over
unreal.
there.
Look at the evidence in front of me.
look at this tangible, obvious like thing that I can see with my eyeballs and perceive obviously.
Wow.
Wow.
We were on a plane with people
Who told me the earth was flat?
who said that it was fine. And Katie was just like, have you looked out the window? Like literally look out the window right now. Just
Right
look out
I would
right
talk to
now.
that person the whole flight.
I
Oh,
did.
she was next to them, and I
You
felt
guys attract some
Crazies?
some interesting people.
We don't attract them. I think the problem is when somebody says that to us, we like get in together.
I-
We're like, all right, so how can I dissuade you?
Well, I mean, so I in the same vein.
Debate mode.
yeah,
Yeah.
like honestly, because sometimes it's just
I-
like, you know, not all the time, but sometimes it's just like, okay, come on, you gotta know.
Totally.
You
I
gotta
was
know.
on the. So these are sort of opposite, like debate mode, not debate mode,
Right.
right? So debate mode, I'm on the plane. Wow, the Earth really is flat. They say, is it looking at the plane window the first time they've been on a plane from London
Ever.
to Orlando. Wow, the Earth really is
Which is
flat.
a long flight. It's like a 7-8
It's a
hour
very
flight.
long flight.
It's 9 hours.
You're high in the sky. It's not a short flight.
No,
That's way up.
you are fucking up there, and you can like literally it goes like this.
I mean, we get 3
like,
meals. You know, that's a long
not
flight.
even like not even kind of like, you know, when you're on the beach and you can kind of see it goes like this and it kind of curves towards you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
On a plane,
it
you
looks,
can see it goes like
it
this.
looks real round, y'all. It looks like a ball, like a whole ass ball.
The Earth is round. Anyways, and they were like, "Oh, it looks kind of flat." And I was just like,
Katie was
"Excuse me,
like,
I've woken up from my slumber. I need to
let
discuss
me
with
be
you."
up right now. And she spent literally and I was sitting on the road next to her and I was like, you know what, I'm
And then
going
they
to pass
kept-
out because by the time I get up, she will
and-
not even be done yet.
But bear in mind, these are the same people who, after I argued them about the Earth was round or flat or whatever, square, triangle, or fucking something, the man said, "Man, I need a fag," and I was like, "You can't say that.
That's not right anymore.
You can't say that."
No.
In the UK, everybody knows what you mean, but when you say that here, people think you're being hateful. Don't say that. So that was that conversation. I was like debate mode, and I argued with them.
You know, but it is a great way to pass a 9-hour flight.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
Let me tell you.
The time went by.
Listen, I saw her start the conversation. I swear to God, I closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, I was in Orlando.
We were on aisles next to each other, and so I had these two next to me, and she was just like,
I was on like the other aisle, but next to her on the end. And I was like, thank the fuck God.
Not in those.
I don't even want to be near this.
What do you say, guys? You want to play? You want to play another tune,
Yeah,
and then we'll get into some games and some fun stuff.
Let's do it.
yeah. What do you want to sing, Shanice? We should have been thinking about this the entire time.
I didn't even think
Ooh.
about it even a little. Reverb.
Girls in the
Reverb.
cave.
You guys, give it up one more time for the little things.
All right, so this is one we recently learned. It's a cover, but we like it.
It's a band from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Tell you that's untrue, 'cause every day since you left me, I thought less and less of you, and I've worn out all the reasons to keep on knocking at your door. Could be the changing of the seasons, but I don't love you anymore. Door is open. You whispered to me as you stood frozen with deep uncertainty. I hope that you know what I am thinking before you go. Untrue, 'cause every day since you left me, I thought less and less of you, and I've worn out all the reasons to keep on knocking at your door. Could be the changing of the seasons, but I don't love you anymore, anymore. The night, come back and spend the night with me. You said come back and spend the night, come back and spend the night with me. You said come back and spend the night, come back and spend the night with me. You said come back and spend the night, come back and spend the night with me. You won't forget me, but I can tell you that's untrue, 'cause every day since you left me, I thought less and less of you, and I've worn out all the reasons to keep on knocking at your door. Could be the
the changing of the seasons, but I don't love you anymore. Oh man, I love the clap track so much.
I gotta get one of those.
Nice. Well done, lady. You know, it's funny, that song, the beginning riff, I was almost like feeling like it was going to be right here, right now.
Yeah.
Like, you could mash that up.
So, like, one of the funnest things about playing ukulele is that they never stay in tune. So we always have to tune before everything and after everything. So I'm sorry about that. But.
It is basically fish and lying. He's right.
Too funny.
I tuned. So we did a live stream earlier. You saw?
Yeah, I saw it.
We haven't gone live in a while, but I was like, we gotta promote our live session tonight with Brad.
Oh.
Yeah. So we went live, and I tuned my ukulele with the piano because I don't have a tuner on that ukulele. And then after 2 songs, I tuned it again. I was like, well, shit, that was like useless.
Especially right now. So something that we're used to in our summers is not being here, not being in this country.
Right.
We usually leave by the end of July or mid-July, and we don't come back until like mid-November, end of November. And it's usually we go to the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, and we see so all of our friends, they're an amazing group of people, and we have like such an eclectic group of people. I mean, people from Dubai, from Abu Dhabi, from England, London, Ireland, you name it. They're from all over the world, and that's amazing. And we're not going to get to do that this year. So our friend Lucy actually just released a song called Home From Home, and we can't even listen to it without crying because it's so like she wrote it about Edinburgh. I mean, her name is like Lucy May Walker. If anybody wants to check her out, Lucy May Walker, and the song Home From Home, it resonates so much with us. But
we know her super well, so
Yeah.
like every song on the album, we know what she's been going through for this last year.
yeah,
But like when that song, the first line in the song, if you know anything about Scotland, the first line is, "It's raining again."
you know, and
And
it's
it-
just
like,
like it's
that
like
started-
right when
Anytime I've ever
she
sat
li-
foot in
we went-
Edinburgh.
It's raining.
we went for
raining.
a
So it's like-
drive and we heard that song come on and she did that line and Katie and I both looked at each other and immediately just started crying.
Oh.
It says, it's called Home From Home, and the words are like, "It's raining again. You're like an old friend."
You know,
And like, and
And the best
so much
part-
has changed, but nothing's been lost here.
The-
And like every time we go back to Edinburgh, like we've got the high street. We meet every morning at 10 a.m. and then every performer who's doing it this kind of way. There's lots of different ways you can perform, but who's doing
this is street performing. We're street performing.
every person who is street performing and decides to go in the morning draw, what you do is you go every morning before 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. it is finished, and you put your pass in that has your name on it, and they draw people out, and you can pick a spot.
Yeah, so like all the photos that you've seen with us in Edinburgh was like a
Yeah.
group of people wrapped around us. That's what we're doing
On
We're
the
street
street.
That's
performing.
so fun.
So
Yeah.
so there's
We
I
start
mean,
with nobody and we end up with
100.
That's so
200
funny. Is a
people.
lot of people probably don't realize that
Yeah.
that you go through that process to be
Exactly.
officially
And,
busking
like,
on the street.
And the thing
yeah.
is, people hear street performing, they think, oh, they're like selling themselves short. It's like such a weird thing.
Yeah,
Why are they
like,
on the
why would you
street?
Different,
wanna
yeah.
street
And I'm like,
perform?
man, when you're street performing in the UK, there's nothing like it. I mean, we start with nobody. I will literally be head down, setting up the speaker, setting up chords and whatever, plugging everything in, and we stand up.
And there's
like
line
100
of
people wrapped around us, or 200 people, and
But,
by
like-
the end of it, we have everybody in there, like into it, clapping, their kids dancing, like.
But also
it's so
sometimes
great.
Also,
like,
sometimes
for
we
us.
set up and there's nobody there, and we start singing, and by
And
the end of
then-
the song, we have people, which is nice.
Yeah,
But like,
Right.
you know.
but you have to get there. And Edinburgh, the weather, especially in summer, as it is everywhere, it is rainy season, and so you get there and it's fucking raining, and you're like, God
And
damn,
cold.
and you sign up and you get a shitty spot, or you get a good spot, or whatever.
but it's still raining.
But it's still fucking raining, so
I
it doesn't
mean, you
matter.
know, the middle of August is 60 degrees and raining. You're like, what the fuck? You
It's
know,
cold.
why am I here? But it's
and
great.
also something about Scotland.
If
I
you
don't-
think about the weather, I'm sorry, before you go on, if you think about the weather and think about what we all have to go through in August and think about the fact that we still all want to be there, we're like literally in tears thinking about not being there this year.
right. That's
That
what
has an
that's
impact.
what means
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
But like,
Exactly.
it's something about Scotland. I don't know if it's like
know,
geographical
yeah.
or like what the fuck ever. But it rains in 360 degrees. The rain, it comes from the sky, and I understand that. Like like this, it comes from the sky, but like
it's
it
like
comes up
this
from your
way,
feet, and
this
it comes
way,
on the
this
sides,
way,
and it comes
this way,
diagonal,
sorry.
and like.
No, I mean, like
So-
if it's rain, I will say though, they're not used to our thunderstorms. If they had one
Thunder
of
is different, but it rains a
Florida
lot.
thunderstorms, man, they would be like, okay, shut the city down. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
People
So,
are not used to
but-
this, you know. We're used to this. People are not used to even here,
Right,
even
really.
in the States, even in America. Like nobody's used to this kind of thundering.
Thunderstorms, yeah.
Apart from people in the South.
So the song starts with "It's raining again. You're like an old friend," and like
Yes.
we just started sobbing, thinking about because even on the rainy days, like
It's
we
so
will all
great.
we will all come together in one apartment and
Mm-hmm.
commiserate that we can't perform,
Right.
And we all just like stay home and drink cider and eat donuts, and we're just like, I hate this. You want another donut? Yes, I do.
Yes, I
Sainsbury's
do.
Sainsbury's is closed. I'll go to Tesco. You know, like whatever. It's like
Right.
I'm gonna go get
Yeah.
more donuts. We need this.
But also
somewhere I'm getting donuts.
Also, though, Lucy did a video. The best part about this is she recorded the song,
Yeah,
which is
see,
about all
Lucia
of us.
knows.
And she did a video with all of her friends, all of the
Aw.
Edinburgh musicians singing the song, and she clipped it all together as you do. And it's not released yet. It's gonna be released soon. But man, we've seen it, and we couldn't even watch it without crying.
It's just so
it like
sweet.
hits home. It hits home. You know,
It's like the whole
because we can't do it this year. This is our only year in the last 4 years that we're not going
since
to be
the
able to do
virus,
this.
we're not able
For
to go
4
this year.
years in a row,
Oh.
this is our summer. This is what we do. And
our
we've
birthdays are
cultivated
in
a family,
August,
you know.
so-
We've cultivated
Oh,
a family.
yeah.
Like
It's our birthday trip.
Yeah.
Like we go
it's
for
not
the whole
even
month.
birthday though. It's just like the family that's
It's-
there. It's
it-
everything.
yeah.
It's everything. And like we can't do it. And so when we talk to each other, even on our WhatsApp like group messenger, it's like so emotional because it's like we can't see each other this year, and like it's so hard.
And
you
you
know?
That's
know-
heartbreaking, really.
And
Yeah.
you know how Facebook brings up memories from a year
Uh-huh.
ago, and for the last 4 years, our memories are going to be
this
promoting
for
our
summer,
shows.
yeah.
Right. And
So,
it's
you
here.
know,
It's,
I mean, every photo you see of us in the street in Edinburgh with
Every
a crowd, that's
every
where we're
single
at.
photo that you put in the montage when we started, there was only one that was from our so far in Auckland, New Zealand, but everything else
was from
the photo of
Edinburgh.
me with my pink dress where I'm like, boop, that's in downtown in front of Luna's Pizza. But everything, boop. But that was, everything else is in Edinburgh. Like we started playing music in New Orleans. And when we started deciding, we moved to New Orleans and we're just like, we're going to do the thing. We're going to do the thing, whatever, we're going. And Fringe Festival is a thing that exists all over the world in thousands of cities. Edinburgh just happens to be the largest one. Because there was like Edinburgh Arts Festival, and there were some weirdos that tried to tried to apply, and they said, "No, you're too fucking weird." And they were like, "Well, fine."
yeah,
I mean, and then,
we'll
like-
go to Fringe.
and the
No,
street-
we will put a festival just on the outside, just
Oh,
on
no
the fringe
kidding.
And
of the festival.
You can speak to anybody about this, but everybody
makes
will say
sense.
to you the face of the Fringe Festival are the
It's the
street
buskers.
performers or the buskers.
But
and the
so-
thing is, 10,000 people walk the Royal Mile every day, which is the street that we all perform on. It's
But-
10,000 people.
but sort of
you know?
funnily enough, before we ever even heard of Edinburgh, we had just moved to New Orleans. We were spinning fire, totally different thing, where she had poi and I had a hoop, and we were like kind of doing our thing. We
You know,
weren't really
young,
sure.
trying to figure it out.
She had no idea even how to, this is way before I even taught her how to play. We applied for the festival just to like have a spot, had to the Fringe Festival in New Orleans.
In New Orleans,
Right.
yes. I remember
Because
that.
our godmom had a show in that, and yes,
She'd encourage
we
us
share
to
a
apply for
godmother.
it, yeah.
My godmother has adopted Shanice, so our godmother encouraged us to apply, and we applied and we got in. And Shanice was actually working at a hotel from
And I couldn't do it,
11
yeah.
to 7 or whatever. And
kidding.
it was totally random. And I went and like
this
we
is.
spun
I would
fire
like to remind everybody watching this or listening to this right now. This is, I don't know,
10 years ago.
10 years ago now. I have not worked a real job in so long.
Yeah.
I don't
worry,
even
I
know
don't
where I
like
would
jobs.
start or how I would resume.
It's awful. Don't do it.
Yeah. I don't want to, and I don't plan on it. I would rather sit at home and do live videos all day than have to go get a job.
But
anyway,
so we did the Fringe in New Orleans, and it was really random. And then that was in November. And then our friend, who was a magician, was like, "I'm going to Edinburgh. I'm going to a festival." And we're like, "Okay, great, have fun." And he's like, "Come with me." And we're like, "Nope."
He was
Nope.
like trying to convince. He's like, listen, I know that you guys don't think a lot about yourself right now because you're still doing it on a small level in New Orleans. But I know that if you come to Fringe, you will kill it and you'll make
we
you
were-
better. And we were so skeptical. We were so
like,
broke.
"No,
We were so
we
broke.
can't afford it. We don't have.
Mostly
I don't have a
yeah.
passport. Like,
God, we were so broke. She didn't have a passport. We got you a passport, and we spent the last. And I'm not joking.
the next year, we
The
spent our
last-
rent money.
$380 that we had not even with a return ticket. We bought one ticket there for both of us. We had no money after that. We couldn't even pay rent. We were like, you know what? Let's just jump. We literally just jumped. We just took a fucking jump and we did it. And since then, we've been there the last 4 years, and we would love to go this year.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes a little leap of faith, you know.
It really was, and you
That's
know
awesome.
what? It
was
changed
worth
our
it.
lives forever. Honestly, it made us into the musicians that we are now. Even if we
Inspired the
didn't
songs
meet
that
those
we've written
people, but
and-
like more so like being more confident with our act, being more confident even back here, like coming back home and feeling like we were worth something, and feeling like to push harder for like things like just pay for 2 people versus 1 person.
Right. Yeah, that's
and
tough.
things like that. Like it's really tough.
You
but,
know,
like,
you're such a full
Yeah.
act when you go on as like a single artist. I'm sure you struggle with like
people wanting to pay
value.
for one act. Yeah, like you know, it's just it's what we
I don't
all.
know. I don't know. I'm
It's
assuming
what we
here.
Yeah,
all
I mean,
live.
you know, I mean, we're
not gonna get into that. Right
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of
There's a lot of politics
there's
when it
a
comes
lot
to
of
like.
politics.
But people don't think that there
We're
is,
not trying to get into that.
Yeah.
But no,
everything.
but you're right, and
Yeah.
I acknowledge it absolutely.
Yeah, I think the thing
Um,
that Edinburgh did for us mostly is just to make us more confident as performers and made us
Sure.
feel like we deserved more than we were getting before we even went there.
We'd be like $100 for 2 of us. That's great.
And now we're like, I would not even
But it's
entertain
like,
that. You
it-
know?
But
it
you've earned,
depends
but
on
you've
the
earned
situation, whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
you earn the right
Exactly.
to ask your price now, and for good
Exactly.
reason. I mean, you know, your
We've
accolades.
paid our dues. We've done the thing. We
10 years.
did it all.
We provide a quality. I feel that we put enough effort into our product
Show,
Yeah.
that it is worth. I mean, I'm not trying to say that like we are the most valuable thing in the
We're
world.
literally the most humble people ever too. So it's
No,
like
but-
really
but-
hard because
but
they're like, I guess
you
it's
put
okay.
their time. You have a tried and
can't-
true.
You can't just pay us for one person.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are like Kicks, you know, like it's kid tested, mother approved.
Yeah.
Like you guys have something that people
You know what,
want,
though? I
and they'll
think-
pay for it.
I think the best part about this is people see us set up on a stage anywhere, and they see us and they go, "Oh, they're so cute! It's gonna be so
girls
cute.
are so
They're so cute, and they're little cute ukuleles, and they're so cute." And then we do like fucking Jet,
Right.
and then they're like, "Oh," because like our biggest thing is this:
You girls
we
are, like,
don't
really
want to
good.
play the songs on ukulele that you would assume to hear. Like we hate doing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Ah.
We will because there are
because
people.
this is one of those things.
There are people that we love and they request it and we love them and we would like to appease them and you know
Right.
sure, but it's not something that we ever want to do. You know,
Sure.
we want to be like on ukulele being like rock and rollers. You know what I mean?
My favorite thing is one of the reasons that I play music is to like make people happy. And I mean, there's definitely a line, but like when somebody is like, oh, we have a wonderful woman who lives in the Keys who loves us, is the sweetest, kindest woman. And she's just like, will you please play Somewhere Over the Rainbow? And when we play it, she cheers, she stands up and she's like, woo! Like it is like the most, the biggest thing in our whole world, and that to me is worth it.
It's worth it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, because
All the
it
time.
transcends being a song that you're just like, because it's not,
Exactly.
it's not,
making someone else happy.
yeah, it's not a stereotype anymore. Now it's somebody with a genuine request, and you're fulfilling.
It's a moment for somebody.
Yes.
You know what the best
so
part is,
you,
though?
you could play, you know, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and if that's that
Exactly.
person's jam, you know,
Then we're happy to do that.
right?
But the
Totally,
best
totally.
part about all of this is when we go to a gig, when we go to a covers gig and we're at Sneaky or we're at whatever, you name it, and somebody yells out, play blah, 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 and it's one of our songs.
Oh yeah,
Man, that is the best feeling
That
in
is
the
fulfilling.
whole fucking world.
That
when
is
you're in a
fulfilling.
crowd and you're at Sneaky and it's packed and somebody at the back is
Someone's-
like, play one of your songs, and the whole crowd is like, fuck yeah, play one of your songs, and we do it and like everybody loses their mind. That
Yep.
feeling right there is nothing that I could ever
Yeah, that's that rock star status
That's
feeling.
you, right?
yeah.
That's
Your
what we're
music,
after.
yes?
That's
That's
what
what it's
we're all
about.
after. That's what you're after. That's what we're after. That's what we're all
You, but
after.
you're-
Is that fucking feeling of like fulfillment of like, man, I fucking did this. I wrote this song and people love it so much. It makes them so happy or sad or whatever. But they want to hear it.
Right.
They're asking me to hear it, and that feels so great. And then they start singing along. Man,
Yeah, that's
Forget about
another level.
that's like cry status. I literally will fucking full on cry.
Bless her. Like so, we
I have no control over my emotions. Okay.
we write a lot of music together, of course, but like more often than not, Shanice will be like, "Hey, I've got this thing. What do you think?" And then we like build on it from there.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the music comes from Shanice, sort of.
I'm definitely
And
the
she
writer.
and
for
she
sure.
sings a lot of lead in our music, and
Mm-hmm.
I I have a few songs that like I have exclusively written, and nobody ever knows those or requests those because they're fucking weird.
Oh,
I'm not offended. I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
Okay, yeah, but there's definitely one that everybody loves.
People really like. I have this one song about.
Which you'll probably do next if you want us
if you want us to sing it. We'll
I'd
sing
love it.
So I'll just lead into it then.
Fair enough.
I won't give it away. I will just lead into it. I came up with this ukulele part that I really liked. That just sounded really interesting. That was like, oh my God, if I can put my hand in the right place. I was like, that's interesting.
And it's very like Beatles.
The best part about that is
and
came
Beach
up.
Boys.
I was
that's melody. That's something else.
Yeah, but
that was something else. But it was a different.
Sorry, I'm mixing our songs.
Different song,
I'm
different
sorry, my bad.
I came.
They give me alcohol, okay? They give me alcohol. Blame them.
Don't put that evil on me.
I'm not putting it on you. I'm just saying.
So
I'm appreciative of this right here.
I came up with this thing, and I was just like, "Fuck, I don't know." Like, I have this in my head, and I know that it's a song. I know that it's something, and like I have to just like do something with it. And Shanice was like, "Okay," and I was like, I'm gonna go write this. I'm gonna go write this fucking song. You do whatever you want. She's like, okay, I'm gonna stay here and watch TV. I'm like, fine. So then I go into the room and I'm sitting there and I'm like trying to write the song and then I am not gonna give it away until the end of the song. But I hear something inspired by what she's watching and I'm like,
it was literally that face, but in a thought. It was that face, but in a thought.
So then I spent an hour and a half doing some research and coming up with lyrics, and I was like, Shanice, I wrote a song. I wrote a song. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear the song? Do you want to know what it's about? And she's like, what's it about? I'm like, I'm not gonna.
But at this point, like, I'm predominantly writing songs. So I was like, fuck yeah, put me your song. Let's go. And you know what? When we were on our New Zealand tour, it was right before that you wrote the song.
It was right before that,
and then we performed the song, like, predominantly with other originals as well. But people were like, man, that's the one. Like, all of your songs are great, but that song is amazing.
I'll give you guys a few hints. Are we okay to carry on into the song?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. So I was writing the song. She was watching a show, and then I heard the words from the theme, and I was just like, oh, this is it. I got it. And then, so I wrote the song, and then we went to New Zealand. And when we were in New Zealand,
made sense. You can tie them in.
When
together.
we were in New Zealand, this is what I would say. I was like, I wrote the song. The show was filmed here, and this is about one of the most powerful women in my life that I learned to aspire to and be inspired by.
Which, like, obviously is me.
It's
right?
not Shanice.
Is it Lord?
It may as well be.
You're not off the wrong consonant.
Okay, because
though.
I love Lord.
We do too.
Did you know she grew up in the U.S. because she did?
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I
thought she was New Zealand.
She's Kiwi, but she grew up in the U.S.
New Zealand, but she grew up here.
She went to college here.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, I thought that was super interesting too. I was like, God damn, I thought she was
And she
proper,
still has
like,
that cute little accent.
I know, she's so just like Steven and Peen, Bead. And I'm like, oh God,
man,
stop it.
So I will say, before we even go on from this, I will say Katy's childhood dream ever, since I've known her, since I've met her, since anybody has known her ever, she's always said, I want to go to New Zealand one day. That's something that I want to do. I love New Zealand. She's fallen in love with this country. She wants to do it right.
My mom dated women in the 90s, if that makes any sense.
Your
towards
mom's watching. So, hey, Gigi.
What up?
Spreading your business out there. But also.
There's no shame in dating women.
Yeah. But
Anyways,
also,
okay.
so she definitely wanted to go there. And then, one of the things I can say to her now is like, how do you feel that you've done this before you were 25? Like, you're a lifelong dream. Like, ever since you can remember, this is what you wanted to do, and you did it before you were 25. Not only did you do it, but you like toured it. You did it with your music. You did it with who you were, and that to me is amazing. That to me is like, as her musical partner, but also as her like spouse, as her person, makes me feel amazing. That if I had any part in that, like, that makes me feel great. And I feel like I did because, honestly, like,
you're the best, Shanice, and I love you, and you're wonderful.
Oh, that's so cool.
But not to be all mushy and shit, but
but
it's
you
great.
were there.
It's great.
You experienced that.
Yeah, and I experienced like her. I experienced like the flight over there with her, and her literally. I'm sorry, but her literally
God.
on the flight crying as we were landing because she was like,
So we took
She
a
was so in tears
we
because
took
she couldn't even handle
like a 12-hour
it.
flight from LA to New Zealand, and then we had to take another hour and a half flight from the North Island to the South Island. And once we got off the flight, I was just like,
she was literally. I mean, like it was like that. She's not even over exaggerating.
They were like,
she was so in tears, and it made me feel so good.
when you go into a country and they're like, "Let me see your passport," I'm just like, like, what are you doing here? And I'm just like living my dream. I don't know. And like, are you okay? And I'm like,
I mean, really, it was just like, yes, we're here for vacation.
Like,
this is our itinerary.
Literally sobbing. I'm just like, I'm great.
But I love this girl with all my heart, and man, she did it. She did the life thing that she
Anyways,
wanted to do.
so this is a song that I wrote about one of the most powerful and inspiring women in my life.
Me.
It's not Shanece.
It's me.
You ready?
I'm ready.
In the flames, it takes only her name to make all of them cower. They all fear her power. The sound of her screams echo through Aries' dreams. Everything she's made happen, I'm in love with her passion. She rides alone, her past drives her from shame. Against the forces of the dark world, she fights for good, not for fair. Horns sound her coming, blare her name, make way for the warrior. Drums beat a rhythm, let villains beware. The warrior princess is here. No fear for danger, like an intimate stranger. She runs to the war, a courageous warrior. Your heart like a lion, you've triumphed all the titans. Everything you've made happen, I'm in love with your passion. She rides alone, her past drives her from shame. Against the forces of the dark world, she fights for good, not for fair. Horns sound her coming, blare her name, make way for the warrior. Drums beat a rhythm, let villains beware. She rides alone, her past drives her from shame. Against the forces of the dark world, she fights for good, not for fair. Horns sound her coming, blare her name, make way for the warrior. Drums beat a rhythm, let villains beware. The warrior princess is here.
Man, I need this clap.
That is a powerful tune.
Would you like to guess who it's about?
I feel pretty confident. What do you think, Jordan?
I do too, but I don't want to go first because I feel
I
like
would
I could be wrong.
No, I wanna
Say it off
hear
the
it.
microphone. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Xena the Warrior Princess.
That's right. Xena, warrior princess.
yes.
Yeah.
Listen, unless you know any other warrior princess, because I would like to know.
Yeah, no,
Speak now.
Yeah, I don't know any
Now
other
or
ones.
forever hold your warrior princess.
Oh, but what a
Princess.
man.
What
So
an
I was-
impactful
beautiful.
song, right?
I
like,
was-
I mean, I'm
I
like
had this
watching
song-
Xena and like She's in the room and she's trying to write a song. She hears like, she was Xena.
I was like, I'm gonna go write a song. She's like, I'm gonna watch some Xena, and I was like, I support that. And I was sitting there. It was actually very sort of monumental. There was a couple of.
I'm not even gonna lie. I have like the bladder of a small child, so I'm gonna go.
She's gonna
go for it.
The standard Shanece. She can't last 2 hours. I can't. She can't last 1 hour.
She tried it. She tried.
She really
You're very
did.
close.
I'm
You're
impressed.
close.
I'm impressed. But I was in the room and I was at sort of a monumental moment of like, fuck, what do I do? What do I kept thinking of Zelda. I kept thinking of just like walking through Zelda and like da 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 da, and I'm just like da 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 da. It's like, this doesn't sound like that. And I'm like Game of Thrones or like something where it's like real life, like human people, but like you're on a fucking adventure.
Right, just something kind of like epic, you know?
Yeah, I had this like,
I've got that whole vibe,
a
man.
movement towards something bigger and like human, but like not quite. And then seriously, like a like megaphone from the gods, I just heard, she was Xena, the warrior princess, like, the theme song where he's like being all thematic and whatever. And I was like, guess I'm writing the song about Xena now. And so I started looking it up, and I looked up, this is super nerdy, and I'm really going to expose myself here, but I looked up in the Xena theme song, it's like da, 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 da. But there's like all these like voices singing, and I was like, they're not just going ha, 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 ha. I'm like, they're saying something, and there's this like instrument. I was like, they're saying something. There's a point.
I will say this speaks for her personality as well, on all accounts.
Okay.
I'm super in depth.
She's like thorough. She's very thorough.
Attention to detail.
Very
important.
Very much. So. I was like,
Katy.
I'm like, they're saying something. So I like looked up the lyrics to the Xena theme song. I was like, there's got to be a music, because I saw like a music video of them like singing and stuff, and I was like, well, they're saying something, obviously. So I looked up the translation of the lyrics, and it seemed so beautiful and poetic that I kind of like morphed the lyrics, those lyrics into something that would make more sense without revealing that it was Xena.
Right.
So
it also kind of led us to find that really cool
that video of those harmonies.
There's a band at Berkeley that did like just harmonies of this time.
It's Bulgarian.
It's insane. It's Bulgarian music, but it's insane.
The instrument in the beginning is a sheep's stomach that they turn into like a sort of
sort of bagpipe.
I was like, what's it called?
It's insane. It's crazy. But anyway.
But so I looked at the lyrics and I was just like, I can work with this. I can work. So I like changed them around to like fit the pattern that I had, and I was just like, I got a song about Xena. Jeez,
so good.
You gotta see this.
I mean, it's so interesting, like to hear the process. You know,
I love the
like,
stories that go into writing songs.
You know, like we had Johnny Depp on the show.
Oh yeah,
he's great.
A month or two ago.
Yeah.
And you know, his process is very simple. He like sees something, he writes it down, and then he just kind of
like Sia.
Yeah, like almost cartoonizes what he takes in, and then writes a song about it.
That's just like,
so
great.
we watched like this documentary on
Sia.
songwriting with Sia, and literally Chandelier. I mean, we all know Chandelier, right? I want to swing from the chandelier, right? The way that she wrote that song was she was like sitting at her piano like this one, and she's going like, what can I write a song about right now?
Bedroom
and
door.
She's like looking around at her surroundings, and she looks up and she sees a chandelier, and that is literally, she says in her documentary, like, I find like an object or a word or something around me or whatever, and she focuses on that. So she saw in that time a chandelier above her, and she wrote a song.
Like, I want to swing from that chandelier.
That was it. You know, for me, it's like, you know, the other day, for example, Katy was doing something in the kitchen. I went into our bedroom and I was like, man, right now I'm feeling like writing a song. And in like 30 minutes, I had a whole song.
Wrote a whole ass song.
Song.
That's how Traffic was born too.
Yeah,
our song Traffic was,
Mm-hmm.
I was out at our friend Warpo's house, and I was at Warpo's.
We were doing the thing.
You know,
We're
hanging out with our regularly legal friends, and we were doing legal activities. Anyways, I was at Warpo's, and Shanice was at home, and she was watching a movie, and she was watching this weird random.
I'm watching a lesbian
musical.
And at one point in the musical, they're in traffic, and they're singing a song about being stuck in traffic. And I'm listening to this. I'm watching.
She
this,
texted me and was like, "I'm watching this terrible movie. They're singing a terrible song. I'm gonna write a better song. I can write a better song than this. Actually, I'm going to write a better song."
And
than
like
this.
literally 20 minutes later, I'm not even joking, 25 minutes later, maybe, I was like, Katie, I wrote a whole ass song about
She's
this.
like, I did it. She's like, this song fucking sucks.
Which
This
should be
musical is
probably be like the
garbage."
next song, right? But like maybe like it was garbage, and I'm sorry, I don't even remember the name of the thing, so I can't even like bash him or anything. But I was watching a thing, and I was like, man, this is not.
I came
good.
home and she was like, I've got like, I'm pretty sure like 85% of a song. What do you think? And she starts playing it. I'm like, that's a whole ass song. And she's like, it needs a bridge. And I was like,
Katie's
I got
my
you.
bridge girl. So what I do, if anybody's wondering about our writing process, what I do is I write this whole song. I have this idea, and I go into it, and I write like a really hooky chorus, I would like to think anyway. And verses, and then I get to the bridge, and I get stuck. And then I take this whole song, and I'm like, Katie,
It needs a part that goes, huh.
I need a bridge. Be the different.
Give me that breakdown.
I mean, clearly, look at her.
Give me
She's
a
the different,
thing.
right? So I'm like, here, I wrote this like really whatever song. I need a bridge. And she comes in. She's my bridge girl. I always call her my bridge girl because she comes in. She just writes these amazing bridges. Like any song that we'll ever play to you, the bridge of that song is Katie.
Oh,
The rest of it is me. The
Awesome.
bridge of the
It's
song
perfect.
is her.
No pressure.
That's a great duo.
Yeah.
Well, you guys,
awesome.
I'm going to
We
turn the
have 10
mic.
minutes left anyway.
Oh yeah, but we can go over or not. It's up to you.
We're
But-
not. We don't got anything going on. You good.
Perfect. Well, there we go. We've had some people in here for like 4 hours before.
Girl.
I won't hold you guys to that. But,
Girl, we're here with you, girl. We're good, girl.
but I am going to turn the mic over to Jordan here for her
Yes.
segment.
Oh,
Yes.
Um,
Please do.
So you guys, each week, our own Jordan Taylor brings you music news and history, current events, and celebrity gossip. So sit back and take a look inside the Jordy Files. Jordan, you look so beautiful over there.
oh,
You
thanks.
do.
Thanks. I want to call out some really lovely artwork I have. So my best friend / husband
my God, that's so
made
cute.
this for me. I love the Golden Girls. And she cross-stitched this whole fucking thing, so she's just amazing. Yeah.
Wait.
I would never
I'm
have-
sorry.
Yeah, this.
One of the Golden Girls did this?
No. Well, no. My friend Agnes.
Oh my
Courtney.
God.
Courtney.
I
yeah.
was about to lose my mind.
Betty White. Over there, like.
Could you imagine? Betty White made this for me. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yes, so we have new wall art, and then we have some musical birthdays today. So back in 1944, English rock guitarist Jeff Beck was born. Who I don't know if anyone knows who he is, but he replaced Eric Clapton in the Yardbirds. Do you know? Have you ever heard of them? Of the
I actually
Yardbirds?
have.
Oh, okay.
I
have
actually
not.
have.
So he's 76.
But I feel like I'm an
today.
eclectic musician, and
Yeah,
you know.
I just saw Eric Clapton and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I got you, girl. I got
yeah.
you.
And then in 1947, Mick Fleetwood was born on this day, yes. And he was obviously the drummer and co-founder of Fleetwood Mac. So he's 73.
That's insane.
I know, he's so old.
You know what's funny? Katie and I were like, we should learn like the chain today. We've been listening to it all day,
Yes.
like in depth because we want to learn it. But go
and
ahead.
then, leather and lace, you guys would kill.
Yes, girl.
Okay.
Given to me.
Yep. So you're doing Fleetwood Mac, got it.
Yep.
And in 1957, Terrence Wilson was born. His stage name is Astro. Do you guys know who
I
he
do
is?
not.
Astro?
I
Okay.
do not,
He
but I will check it
played
out.
percussion and trumpets and did the vocals for UB40 from 1979.
Okay, so I do know who he is, just not by
Okay.
name.
Yeah, right. I didn't either
Not
until
by
I was
name.
like, oh my God,
Yeah.
UB40.
I gotta look
got
him
it.
up.
Yeah, and so from 1979 till 2013, so for a million years. So he's 60
Approximately.
Yes, so give or take. So he's 63 today.
Happy
And then-
birthday.
happy birthday. And then last but not least, in 1986, Solange Knowles was born, which we all know better as
yes.
Beyonce's
Little sister.
Yes.
You know what? We actually have a story about this.
Our neighbor did her photos when she lived in New Orleans.
When we lived in New Orleans, our neighbor was her photographer, and she was in the field doing our photo shoot one day, and Solange drove by.
And she was like, hey, girl, look at those girls. You look so cute.
Yeah. So like,
So Solange thinks we're
I mean,
cute,
like,
no big deal.
we kind
No
of
big
are
deal.
best friends with Solange. It's fine. Nobody needs
I mean,
to
you know, she complimented us.
I'm not gonna say that we're best friends or anything, but we're best friends.
Yeah, but she like totally likes us. And so she's 34.
Happy birthday, Solange.
Yeah, so funny. And then just some quick music history. It's a big day for Eric Clapton and UB40, apparently June 24th, because all the facts were about both of them.
Yes.
So 1988, UB40, this one's kind of sad, I guess, but I just thought it'd be nice to throw in because it was about UB40. Earl Falconer was sent to prison for 6 months after admitting to causing his brother's death in a car accident, which is pretty sad.
that's
But
sad.
yeah, I kind of dove into it, and I guess it was like a drunk driving thing.
You know
but
what? Weird fact about UB40.
He at least admitted it.
He did, and that's great. Island people, in general, I'm born and raised in Trinidad. For whatever reason, we love UB40. There's no song by UB40
So
that I do
good.
not know.
Yeah.
I
so
can
good.
sing them
Like
word. I can sing them word for you because I just grew up with that music around me.
Yeah, they're so good.
For whatever reason, that's the thing.
I feel like they're just kind of like timeless across like
yeah.
You
no
can't
one can
not.
yeah, you can't not like them.
It's
if you,
great. They're
You
great.
have no soul if you don't.
They're,
Yeah.
they're so chill.
Red wine,
They're
like,
like-
come the fuck in.
No offense to our UB40 haters out
Oh
there.
yeah,
No, no,
you
no.
guys
You
can
know,
all
full
go.
offense. Full offense.
Here's the thing.
But
They're
JK,
like
JK.
they're like white boy reggae, and we love it. It's like revolution.
Yeah.
Who can hate it?
Revolution,
Who
yes.
can hate
Who
it?
can hate them?
It's
Yep.
so good.
Yep.
Lots of people, I'm sure, but not us.
But you know, yeah, they're not important. So, in 1990, New Kids on the Block's Donnie Wahlberg spent 2 days in the hospital after falling through an unlocked trap door mid-concert in
Wow.
Saratoga Springs, New York. So,
Interesting.
yeah, he had a rough day.
Man,
and then
I need to be hanging out with you more. You got all the good.
I know,
trivia.
I know, have all this good stuff. So then, in 1999, Eric Clapton put 100 of his guitars up for auction. This is kind of cool. It kind of reminded me of the movie Uptown Girl with Brittany Murphy. So I guess he had put 100 guitar. Maybe this is where it came from, but he put 100 of his guitars up for auction at Christie's in New York City to raise money for his drug rehab clinic, the
Wow.
Crossroads Center in
amazing.
Antigua. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he did that.
You? Oh,
I
okay.
did, yeah.
And so his 1956 Fender Stratocaster named Brownie.
Brownie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're a creep.
Oh.
Which was used to...
Because I bought it.
Oh, did you?
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, damn. If
No.
you had this much money,
If you have this much money,
If I had
would
if
I
had
would
this
be
much
dating
money,
you.
what?
what are we doing here? So, yeah. Brownie, which was used to record the electric version of Layla,
Yep.
sold for a record high of $497,500.
Chump
That's
change.
not too much,
Yeah.
isn't it?
If I could sell
That's
anything
like
of my
lunch.
own for that, I would feel very fulfilled in my musical
Right?
career.
That's
to be
basically just
honest.
like breakfast, like
Yeah, it's
whatever.
like,
That's
half a
crazy.
mil, bye. And
Who feels that, honestly? Like, $500,000? Please talk to me when it's like $2 million.
for my one guitar I bought for like, $200.
Can you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
I can't get this one for $300 because
listen,
it's.
I really,
for
really right
$195.
now want to like a mini guitar, like Taylor guitar, and it's like $800, and I literally can't even afford to buy it. So I feel
If only you
Could you
had
imagine?
$500,000 to spend on a
if only
fucking
I did.
guitar.
Like, who bought that?
I just want a GS Mini. Someone
Me.
buy me a GS Mini.
Oh my gosh. So I guess the auction helped raise nearly $5 million for his clinic. So that was 1999. And then on the same day, which is weird, in 2004, he sold his Fender Stratocaster named...
Blackie.
Damn. Okay.
That was our cat's name, but we had to
Sold-
change it.
Yeah. Was it? Oh. Yeah.
You know.
Just like if you got
For
down the
obvious-
street, listen, if your cat gets out, you can't be like, Blackie!
Come in here, Blackie. Come back.
You know, when one of your owners is black, also maybe not.
Comes with
It's
some
problematic.
negative connotations
So
there.
it's a little problematic.
When you're in
you
New
know?
Orleans, it's like, let's just change it to Loki. And
It's
see what
fine.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
that's a good one. That's good.
happens. Sorry, carry on.
Oh,
please.
so that one Blackie sold for $959,500.
Holy shit.
Making it the most expensive guitar in the world.
$959,000?
Yeah, so it was almost $1 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, for Blackie.
1/5 of that
You know what?
entire
You know
entire
what?
auction
I
was
will
one
say,
guitar.
I will say this before you go on, Katie. You can sell me for $950,000.
Permission granted.
Permission granted. Go ahead, girl.
It'll be like indecent proposal.
You know what? You sell me, and
get
we'll-
it for 1
I
hour.
will like escape to Mexico or something. We'll just meet each other there. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and live comfortably forever.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
In
Especially in
Mexico?
Mexico, man. We're like billionaires at
Yeah,
that point.
see,
Let's
there
go.
you go.
How many pesos is that? I'll check it out. I don't fucking care. Please carry on. I'm sorry.
And then in 2012, the crypt in which Elvis Presley was first buried was withdrawn. from a Los Angeles auction. After protests, it should be kept as a shrine. As a shrine, Shay.
We saw his estate. We actually, while we were on tour, we
went to Graceland. It was crazy.
We saw Graceland. It is
yeah.
insane. It is huge.
Yeah, I saw it too. Just the wall, though, and I
Yeah.
guess my mom and dad
No, we
signed it
didn't
somewhere.
we
but
didn't
No, we didn't go
but we
in.
saw it from
It was
outside.
because it was
Yeah.
like pouring down rain, but we
Yeah.
like drove around it, and even driving around, man, it was huge.
yeah, so
hugest
nice.
thing ever.
Yeah, I didn't go in either. I'd love to go back and go to it though.
Same, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
one
just
day.
too rainy. one day.
Yeah, ours was. Yeah, it was raining when we went to. I guess that's.
It's always
common.
raining forever.
The
Why
blues
is it
of
always
Memphis.
raining forever?
It's raining again.
Elvis is like,
Again.
keep people
My
out
old
of my
friend.
fucking house. I'm gonna keep it raining.
Old friend.
Oh gosh! So I guess the crypt
seen
has
you
been
in
empty
months.
since 1977, and then in 2013, the former I'm probably going to slaughter the name because I feel like I always say it wrong. Devo. Is it Devo? Okay, because I always want to say Devo, but I guess it's Devo. Okay, so I said it right. Devo.
Whip it.
Drummer. Whip it good. Alan Myers died at age 58 in Los Angeles, California, following a long battle with cancer.
Today?
He was the drummer for Devo from 1976 to 1986 in 2013 on this day.
We're having someone on our thing saying Graceland is awesome. Never realized Elvis did so much, and he definitely did, man. It
Yeah.
was it's
Elvis
huge.
did
It's
at
like a
least
kingdom.
one or two much.
But
One or
it's
too
not
much.
even about so much. It's just it's a kingdom. Like it's not even
Yeah.
He
a
was.
little bit of a realistic.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson's like Neverland is like cute, but Elvis's estate, man,
Yeah.
is insane.
There's an airport. There's a carport.
It's
There's
crazy.
a whole like property. I don't know if you've ever.
You
went
could
to
tour-
Memphis.
you can-
I went
You
once
can
and I
go
saw
near the
wall,
plane.
like,
You can
just
go
the-
around the plane. You can go in the plane. You can go in his house. Like it's insane.
There's a whole
It's
area
wild.
that's
Yeah,
like
it's wild.
memorabilia, and then also his property that he lived on, and it's like $40 to go into the like museum, and then it's like another $75 to like get
In his
on the
house.
property,
Yeah.
and then like another.
geez.
I mean, they
whatever.
definitely
Ow.
capitalized
To get into
for
his
sure.
house.
Yeah,
I'll say,
that
well,
seems like
way
a
to
lot.
nickel and dime you right all the
for
way.
everything.
And you could use the restroom for another $120.
Exactly.
It's very easy to pee.
Capitalizing
Just give me
heaven.
$100.
Yeah.
Capitalizing heaven.
I am
That's
on
crazy.
everything. And then, but compared to his house, my dad lived in Mississippi for a while, and he's from Tupelo.
Okay.
And he was born in like a shotgun house. I have a photo.
Yeah.
Like you could just walk through his
Yeah.
house. Like it was
Yeah,
like,
we've lived
One
in
straight line.
We've
Yeah.
lived in our fair share of shotguns in New Orleans. We
yeah, I
have
was going to
cats.
say.
We have cats, and they would love to like
They
go
love-
from one end and like race.
They would
to-
like-
They would like start running. You would hear them coming, and you would just like know to stop.
You're like, where are they?
It's
Where
like
are they
yeah,
gonna
you
be?
didn't know, so you just stop and like wait.
There's
for them to
only
get there
one
and go.
direction. Like here, is it coming from over there or over there?
Yeah.
When you're in a shotgun house, it's like, is it there or there?
Right.
It's
Pick
one
an end.
direction.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like this.
So all of that stuff happened today.
Today, yeah,
That's
in music
crazy.
history, and then the birthdays, and then I have just some apparently Jordy tea, and just two little things. So I just
Ooh,
want that is kind of
little
more
things.
the local, yeah, the little things. And I guess apparently effective this week in Palm Beach County, they've issued like a mandatory mask order, which
Good.
they're still not sure of like an exact start date. You're supposed to get fined, but maybe not.
Yeah.
We'll see how they follow through that.
We actually
and-
just did a
I'm
show
glad
in the
it started.
Keys in Key Largo, and they
Monroe
did it as
County.
well in Monroe
Oh.
County. And like, if you're in a restaurant or in a venue, you have to have a mask on as long as you're moving around. When you're sitting, you're okay.
Yeah.
But if you're moving around, if you're even going to the bathroom or going to your car or anything, you absolutely have to.
Yeah, the
mask up.
Keys have been pretty hardcore on that from
yeah,
go.
and if
because,
you
yeah,
don't-
because the keys are so small, and
And
like
if you
they doubled
don't-
in Key West.
And if you don't, it's a $500 fine. So for everybody out there
That's
going to
right.
the Keys,
dang.
it's just because it's a touristy town. You got to keep
Yeah.
yourself safe.
Gotta
You know?
so
Yeah.
Palm Beach.
So yeah, Palm Beach is doing that if you can't like safely social distance or whatever you're supposed to wear one. And there's apparently a petition going around for St. Lucie County to do the same.
Good.
So we're probably not far behind.
I support that.
And then last but not least, probably my favorite piece of news. No, not really because I loved her because she was a mess. But Miley Cyrus is sober, everyone. So yes, yay.
We can all be happy about that.
Yeah.
because that's
Let's
a
give it
hard
up for
thing.
Miley Cyrus.
We don't even need the clap track because we're all clapping.
Yep, she is 6 months sober.
That's great,
So,
man.
She
That's awesome.
can't stop,
You
and
know
she
what?
won't stop.
Say what you will about anybody ever in this business, but it's a hard fucking business, especially at that
Yeah.
level. And if you're there and you've gone through some hard shit, I don't care.
Oh yeah,
Do
and giving
not
her
judge
like
anybody.
her dad.
I
She's
can't imagine going
She's
on
there
tour.
from a child,
Yeah.
and now she's growing up in this, and she's learning anything she knows about that,
Yeah.
which is all this stuff. So for her to be sober, that's
Yeah.
fucking
And I'm
amazing.
sorry, I cannot
And,
imagine doing 5 shows a week and being like, "Do you want some apple juice? Like, no one wants a fucking tequila.
You know what? Like,
What the fuck do you mean?
whether
want a
you
kitty
like
cocktail?
whether you like the artist or not, like that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, no.
That's
Same
really
thing with
good.
Demi Lovato.
Yeah, it's
amazing
great. Oh,
all
yep.
the time.
She's had her
Yeah.
ups and downs, and I mean, I can't. I am very grateful every day that I am not Britney Spears, because I mean, bless her, she's a fucking weirdo. Love Britney,
Yeah.
not hating on her, but like if you've looked at her Instagram, she's a robot. She's a
Yeah.
weird ass lady.
She's a crazy person.
She's
Yeah.
crazy.
There's
She's
a
a
video.
crazy lady with 2 sons, and I don't even know. I don't know what's
She
happening.
like walks up to the camera and she's just like, "Hi, so I burnt my gym down, but like whatever. So here's my first day in the gym," and I'm like, "You burnt your gym down?
Can we backtrack?
Can we just like very quickly
Okay,
address that?
let's back up. Right. Let's back up and like pause. So let's start
So
here.
you burnt your gym down?
what? What?
You have a gym?
And you burnt it down in your whole house?
But like anyway,
And you're smiling?
But also though, respect, because whatever. She came through a lot of shit. And, we
I know,
can't-
listen.
we can't judge. I can't judge. I don't know what anybody's
how
going
close
through.
have I come to
Yeah.
been shaving my head off? Britney 2007 style. you
God,
know?
I'm close to that right now. Let's be
Have
real.
you seen that one photo that's like 1 through 9, and it's like what Brit on a scale of 1 to 10? What Britney are you?
Yeah. Oh, girl, I'm like a 6 and an 8.
Yeah, I'm like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
1
You
through
can-
9.
You can look it up, and I'm the 6 and the 8.
I don't even need to see the photo.
You know.
I am
know.
always Britney mid shave, where she looks maniacal and she's like, "Yes,
I'm ready. I'm gonna
That's
do
me
it.
at every- any
That's
given
Katie's Britney.
Yeah, no, that's
Any given
Katie's
moment,
Katie. That's
I
literally
am-
Katie's Katie. Brittany was
I'm
just
always
giving her a
ready to-
reason.
I mean, look at this. Can I cut it off? Yes. Will I? Yes.
Yes.
there's so many times today where Katie's like, "Should I shave my head off?" And I'm like, "Yeah, do it."
She never
that's
tells
on
me.
you.
That's good support.
Give
That's
it a whirl.
support system.
I'm never gonna be mad. I
It'll
want to
grow
shave
back.
mine off too. So
It'll grow back.
Honestly, if she's shaving her head off, I am too. We're doing it together. So
Oh,
we're
there
gonna
you
be like
go.
the bald-headed little thing. So
Yeah.
let's go.
So that was last but not least.
Yes.
That was it, huh?
So
Yes.
she just basically said she likes waking up every day with a clear mind and not feeling groggy.
I love
Nice.
that.
So good for
Yeah.
her.
So
Good for
she-
her.
That's great.
All right, give it up for Jordan and the Jordy Files.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Far too kind.
Well, ladies, would you guys like to play a game?
Yes.
And then maybe we could pull another song out of you?
Always.
Maybe.
Let's do it.
Give us
All
another
right.
shot and then we'll sing another song.
Yeah?
Yes.
Perfect.
Another
So-
shots in order. Jordan's apparently the
shot.
master
Okay.
of
Do
lemon
another
drops.
She's
lemon
the
drop?
mess.
Are we all doing lemon
She's,
drops?
that's
or?
a shot of the day.
Or we
God.
can do just like tequila.
We
Listen.
can get real weird.
No. We can do your lemon drop, girl. It's a shot of the day. We're all about
I mean, I
it.
cut all these damn lemons, and
Let's
I
do it.
removed like 428
Girl.
seeds.
She did. She removed
Let's
so
do it.
many seeds out of those
You're
lemons.
such
I'm
a
happy for
babe.
it. I'm happy for it, and I love
She's
it.
You
like
are
doing,
too. I love
doing
you
surgery
both.
in there.
Oh my
What
gosh.
a sweetheart. Thank you for removing the seeds.
Honestly, I don't even know how
I
we're
know,
not
I
best
was like-
friends. I don't know how we're not best friends, guys.
Did we just become best friends?
Did we just
I-
Are we
I
about
will-
to kiss right now? or-
I will warn you, the second time you guys come on the show, because we nailed down all the groundwork and
Yeah.
we get to story.
Yeah.
We're being like,
It gets-
civil,
It gets really fun. like it
Listen,
gets
I
real
know.
fun and weird.
and I want that weird. I don't think that you know that, Brad, but I want that weird.
Oh, well,
Listen,
you've come to the right place.
I think
I
the weirdest thing about this is when we met you at Sneaky Tiki when they were doing the Bahamas thing,
Right.
That's right.
We
Yeah.
were the
And
opening act, and
you
you
got
were
on
the closing
stage and you were
act.
just like, you were the most commanding on the microphone and you're like, blah blah blah, we've got a thing, stuff, we're waiting for people, instead of like, thanks. That was a band.
But that was
Yeah.
the first
You-
time we
you
ever
know,
met
you
you.
know.
And then when we met you, we were like, oh man, this guy's like really cool.
And then you
it-
said Brock and I was like, wait a minute.
Yep.
We know.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
And then I saw on your show you had Ellie on
But
there.
it's
and I was
like-
like, oh shit,
But it's
that's your
it's
sister.
so
Yep.
funny because we know all these things about you, and we know. I mean, obviously Jeff tells
all
us a
of
bunch
these
stuff.
things
Sure,
about
sure.
you.
Well,
we
you
know
know, like we
everything
know
about
you in passing as we do in this.
You read
in
my
the-
biography.
On the Treasure Coast as
Thrilling.
musicians, we all know each other, right? Like, even
Yeah.
if we haven't met or whatever, we know
Sure.
each other. And we met you, and honestly, I will say, and I'm not like trying to like blow smoke up your ass or anything. I will say, like, you're one of the coolest fucking like most amazing
Aw.
musicians that we met. That like
Well, thank you.
was in our like place where we were supposed to play music with you, and we had to like
You
share
know how
a stage.
musicians can be.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
you were cool.
Believe
you're
me.
dope. You were great.
And you were.
I mean, you're
trying to do
coming.
the opposite.
You're like following these two girls on ukulele, and you're like helping us with the sound and like everything else. Like it seemed really cool, and we were definitely when Jeff asked us to like be part of this, and you did too. Like we were like, yeah, of course.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad
Yeah.
that you guys are here, and and that you're having a good time. That's the
Totally.
most important thing.
And you
It
know
was
what?
seriously the most
Even if
random
we didn't like
connection.
you have alcohol. So I mean, here we are.
That's
my
how I
God.
smooth it all over. So
I'm joking.
we're gonna play a little game. We're gonna test your knowledge.
Let's
Let's
do
do
we're
it.
gonna fail.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Have you ever played Name That Tune before?
Yes.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I have, but I will not be good
I used
at.
to play with
I
my
won't be
brother
good
on
at this.
piano.
She'll be better at this than I am.
It's okay. So the category for tonight is girl groups.
Oh.
Now I had a category. I think I had to have been last week. When you guys were in the Keys, Jeff had told me that he was reaching out to you to be on the show. So I was like, okay.
Yes.
So I kind of like put together all my pre stuff,
Right.
and then you guys weren't able to do it, but I still had my.
So you have it saved for this week.
Well, I had my Name That Tune set up, so we ended up playing it, and it was girl duos,
Oh.
and
Well, that will
Yeah.
be better with girl groups.
or it
I'm
wasn't
sure.
girl duos. I'm sorry, it was just famous duos.
Duos. Got it.
So this is famous girl groups.
Girl groups. Got it.
Right, and it spans the decades, so
Well,
it's
we're gonna fuck it up, so don't judge us, but we'll do our best.
Yeah.
Carry
It's
on.
okay. I
Keep in mind, we're not here for famous girl groups. We're more here for like Queen and shit. But here we go.
love it.
There we go.
So I
fuck it up every time.
yeah, Jordan,
We
she's
still love
terrible
you,
at this
so
game.
hopefully you'll still love us.
All right,
Always.
All right, let's do it.
are you ready for your first clue?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, first clue. This one's so easy. So easy. Here we
He
go.
says, but we're gonna fuck it up. Go ahead.
Oh wait. I have a graphic.
Name that tune.
that.
Brought to you
Oh.
by Amber Brock Lager. Delicious taste,
How
smooth
exciting.
finish. And now, Amber Brock presents Name That Tune.
I think I'm gonna shorten up the theme song for next time. It goes on a little too long. It's almost uncomfortable.
I like it. I like uncomfortable.
We used to play this with my brother. He'd sit at the piano and he'd go, "Name another tune."
and we'd sing a song and he'd play it.
All right. Man, I got a lot louder. Okay, first clue.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here we go.
TLC.
TLC all day.
Yeah. All right. That was a little. Oops, that's not what I wanted.
That wasn't that a song.
Oh,
No.
I was in it. I was in it.
Oh yeah, that was too easy. Okay, second one. All right, this goes back a little further.
Okay, all right, I'm ready.
Wish us luck.
Oh, come on. Spice Girls.
I knew it.
We do a Spice Girls song, actually.
Yes.
We might do it now.
So what's the name of the song?
Spice Up Your Life.
Yes.
That's off their second album, I'm pretty
Sad and
sure.
low.
Oh my
After the
goodness.
movie, it's at the end of the movie.
It where you want to go.
Okay, but who was your favorite Spice Girl?
Oh my
So
God,
I
scary
was
all
always
day.
a
I'm
ginger
Scary
girl.
Spice. I'm Scary Spice. Look at me. I'm Scary Spice.
So like, I like Ginger even though
And it's
she's
not
the
even
first one
because
to
I'm a
leave,
black
and
person
that's okay.
thing. I just am Scary Spice. I'm just.
She was
over the
Scary
top.
Spice for Halloween one year. She wore 7-inch platforms. It was a
I
whole
did,
thing.
and like cheetah print brown and cheetah print bow tie. It was really hard because we were at a music festival and I was fucking breaking my ankles everywhere.
No kidding, man. No,
was
they
a
would
good
sent
time.
you to the hospital.
It was a really good time.
It was a commitment, but I was there.
All right, third clue here.
Okay, I'm
Here
ready.
we go.
I'm ready.
I can't hurry them. Oh fuck. Just Supremes.
It is the Supremes.
Oh,
Can
you just have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it. Well done. All right. Fourth clue.
Okay,
It's a little bit more obscure. Still a very wildly popular song.
Probably won't
but-
get it, but it's cool.
that's fine. We
Here we go.
I know this song, but I can't tell who it is.
Yeah, same.
I know it's so hard. Oh God.
I will never be able to guess who the band
I'm sorry,
name
I
of this band
can't.
is.
But I know it's like somewhere in like hip hop ass like 1990s.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
you
full
never
on
gonna get
90s.
it.
Salt and Pepper.
No, that's a good guess though. That's a solid guess. It's not Salt and Pepper.
Who is it?
Oh, you gotta tell me.
Nobody. It is In Vogue,
Ah.
and the song is My Lovin'.
I never
And wow.
Foo.
Well, damn.
aggressive
If,
huh?
I just gotta,
if there's anything to make me feel like a failure, it's that sound.
Like my parents, whatever, but that sound.
see, it works.
Get out.
It's much more triggering than my parents.
Whatever, but that sound.
Oh, look at this.
Thanks,
It's shot
Jordan.
time.
Your hair looks so lovely. I can't stop staring at it.
Honestly, I've thought about it this whole time we were here. Every single time I look at it, I'm like, how does she have the patience? I don't
She is
understand.
Jordy with the good
It's
hair.
beautiful. All
right.
Are we? We're not the only ones taking. No, you guys are all taking.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Can we take
I,
another shot?
I want to do the song thing first. I'm excited about that.
What is that? Is that an empty shot on your desk there?
No.
Yeah. All gone.
Well, I'm not gonna pressure you to take shots, but like you're pressuring me to take shots. So cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
Motherfucker.
Well, cheers to everybody out there. Thank
Thanks
you
to
so
Cheers
much.
to you guys.
Thanks everybody who's
Yes, and jamming cocktails because this is so fun. We should do this way more often.
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so we should maybe just be friends and hang out because this is really fun, you know?
Anytime. You guys are welcome.
Yep.
You let me know, and then we'll work it out.
You say that now.
That's fair.
We're very clingy. we're very clingy.
I have
So
one
we're
more clue
needy.
for you.
Oh, yes, bring
all
it
right,
on.
let's go.
Ready? This one's I don't know. It's a willy-nilly one.
Is it gonna be one of our songs? Because that's cheeky.
That
AF.
would be funny.
It would be funny. I'm not that
Me
diabolical.
and you alone together. We're like, damn. Could you not?
All right, we're
6 o'clock already, I was just in the middle of a dream.
Oh,
You
you know it.
I don't know who sings it though.
You're onto it.
I know the name of the song.
And
I
I
don't know.
and I
It's not-
opted
It's
for
not
this
Cyndi
song.
Lauper, is it?
It's not.
Okay.
It's a group. It's a girl group.
Okay.
Can you give us a bit
Is it
more?
the Cruel Summer Ladies?
No, it's not.
Cruel Summer. Can we get any more? Is that all
No,
we get?
that's the.
Okay, that's okay.
I'm not gonna be able to
6
get.
o'clock already, I was just in the middle of a dream.
No,
I'm not gonna get it, but I know that I should, and I'm disappointed in myself.
I know the name of the song.
Do you?
What's the name of the song?
Manic Monday.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
lady
But I
on our
don't know.
side.
Yes.
Also, we don't know.
Yeah, but I don't
okay,
know who
I'll
he
give you a
sings.
hint. They also sang "Walk Like an Egyptian."
Bangles.
It was the Bangles. Yeah.
Yay!
Well done. And that was
when
named this tune.
You know
so
what?
That song came. Walk Like an Egyptian came out in what? 1994, 1995.
Yeah, something like that.
So
yeah,
I was like only a week old or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. I'm an infant. And
Me too.
I was only. I
He's
was
like,
only-
oh god, oh
I
god.
was only the whisper of an idea in my papa's eye. But I remember hearing "Walk Like an Egyptian" and listening to that song and being like, "Mom, can you play that song?" My parents were in a band, and the similar to that story is I was always like, "Can you play Walk Like an Egyptian?" And they were like, "No, I don't want to fucking hear that goddamn song anymore." like parents these days are like, "I don't want to hear fucking Let It Go anymore."
Right.
I was like, "Walk Like an Egyptian." And something else is like Possum Kingdom, you know, "Do You Wanna Die?" That song.
Oh yeah.
Imagine you're sweet. I was a very, very cute child. I was like
She was.
I was really cute until I got about.
She's not
3
like blowing smoke up her own ass. She was actually very
until I was
cute.
about 4 years old. I was just like the cutest little infant.
and then she was like a little tiny boy. It's fine.
And then who fucking knows what happened? And it got weirder from there. But as an infant, I was very cute. And can you imagine a tiny cute with the curly
Tiny
hair,
cute little
the
kitty.
chunky little face, just like playing with her Cheerios? Do you wanna die? My mom was like, "We can't play that fucking song anymore."
Not now. Not ever again.
It's terrifying. It's not cute. It's
they
scary.
know. They know, and they always have known, and it's fine. I love you, parents-in-law. Parents-in-law, I love you.
It's so
This has
funny.
nothing to do with me. It's all Katie.
And this is coming from pretty musical parents. you know?
Yeah, very musical parents. Like as a matter of
So,
fact, all that they've done for their whole
my-
life. So
my whole
her
life-
dad is still in Sierra bands. Everybody's out there. Go
Yeah,
see Sierra band.
when-
Her dad's
Yeah.
When my parents were together, they had a band together and a duo together. When my parents were separated, my mom was doing her own thing in a band, and my dad had his own band or whatever.
Right.
Oh wow.
So like my parents have my dad had a job once, and that was working at Schumacher Music.
one time for.
Well, I remember that's where I
Met him. I'm
met
sure.
him many years ago.
That's no surprise. Did you know Dan Bernacki, the drummer?
Oh gosh, that
He was a drum teacher. He was very shy. Like it would not be a surprise if you
Bernacki.
never knew him. Dan Bernacki. He died 10 years ago. He was one of my. He used to babysit me and my brother. And bless him, God. I've told my parents these stories since whenever. But like, He used to drive us around. We'd scream at strangers, like literally, like your mom.
They
or,
literally
like,
had the best
"Hey."
babysitter ever because Dan was just like, well, I'm not your parents, so whatever. Do whatever the
Yeah,
hell
do
you
whatever
want.
you want. I'm just making sure that you don't die.
Like literally, as long as you don't die, everything's kosher with me, man. Let's go.
He had like one of those pickup trucks. It was bright purple. So maybe if you ever were at Schumacher's, you saw a bright fucking purple truck.
The name sounds very familiar, but of course, 10 years ago,
It was that was when he died.
pretty
So he
aloof.
would have been like active like 15 because he had heart surgery in 2006.
The point is, these are like older bands, definitely that like we grew up
Right.
listening to
So
with our parents even here.
I'm
Right.
not surprised that you knew my dad at Schumacher's, but like he, bless him, he had a pickup truck, but it was like one of those trucks that had the like covers on the back part, like a truck that
it was not the tonneau, but the kind of like the enclosures.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
you could put things back there that wouldn't be exposed, so it was properly covered, and it had the like window in the middle, so that was like kind of so you get the AC back there,
Right, sure.
So it was me, my brother, his friend, and Dan, or my brother, whatever, however, 4 or 5 of us, and 3 or 4 of them would sit up front, and me, 5 years younger than them, I would like roll around in the back of the freaking truck like with a pillow or something.
You know what's weird about this whole story though, with her telling you, is
I told my parents this, and they're just like, "Oh, Dan."
the same. At
Oh,
the same
Dan, it's
time,
just Dan.
at the same
Dan.
time that she was doing this shit, if you can imagine, before I met Katy, I was
She was a freaking medical student.
I was like in medical school. Like my parents were very like
Look what you've done.
like
Look what
really
you've become.
no, but like really, like you think like it's funny. I mean, it's kind of funny, but
It is
she
very
definitely did
funny.
it. But I was in medical school, and like my parents had a whole plan for my life, and I definitely was stuck to that plan. I had been, and I did the whole thing, and I was good, and I say this to people all the time, and I feel like it comes across really pretentious, but I don't mean for it to be. But like when I was in medical school, I always knew what I wanted to be, so I always knew everything while I was there. It didn't really feel like a challenge to me. It just felt like just another thing that I was supposed to do in my life.
Right.
When I did music, when
Part
I
of the
found
plan,
music,
yeah.
right. And when I found music, for me personally, that was different. I mean, learning music is a whole language. When I went to school for music, I don't just learn the chords on my ukulele. Like I know how to read. Like I know everything about music. So like, well, not everything. Katy's teaching me.
Right, but
still.
you know
It's
the
a process.
fundamentals. You
Right, like
understand how
yes,
it works.
I know
right.
the fundamentals. I don't know everything that I need to know, and of course, I'm always willing to learn. But I definitely know what I need to know, and that was different for me because I met Katy, and she was like, "You're unhappy. I'm looking at you, and you're happy. Like you're working
She
yourself
was
to
like
death."
in the hospital from heart palpitations from drinking too much Red Bull or
Yeah,
something, and I'm like,
I had
why are you killing
I had
yourself? Go to fucking
5
medical school.
I have 5 classes a day in college. Then I had
and then a job and a
2
girlfriend
band classes,
and a band.
and then I had a band, and I had a girlfriend, and I had a job overnight. It was a lot. But for me,
I was
music
like, quit it all. Fuck it.
as
Do nothing.
As cliche, and honestly, really, I don't like to say this, but as cliche as this sounds, like music really just saved my life because I didn't know what else I wanted to be. I didn't know because everything I was doing before that was for everybody else. It wasn't for me. It's my parents and everybody else. And then I met Katy, and she's like, "No, you actually want to do this. I know that you want to do this because I'm seeing you and I'm looking at you, and I know."
I
and
just
we have
told her,
conversations all the time.
I was like, so the thing that keeps you going to school is your band practices, right?
And I was like, "No, it's my parents."
But I was like, the thing that you like is band, right? Like, you don't care about medical practices and whatever. Like, you just want to play music, right? So, like, if you're getting all of the education that you can from, like, obviously they've got a lot to show you. And, like, I was in choir in school, so, like, I know what you can get from, like, a learned experience and, like,
Right.
having a teacher,
Sure.
like, guide you. And I was not at all trying to negate that, but I was just saying, like, if you're struggling with your personal life so much just to get the musical education, like, I can provide that. I can help you. We can learn that together. Not that I know everything, but like we can look into
and
that
keep
together.
in mind, when I was in high school, I marched drums. I marched quads in marching band, like the.
Oh yeah, my favorite. They're like the roto tom things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
So
why
good.
that's why our strumming patterns are so interesting. and our tempo is so good.
It's like for this works out great because it's like I have the percussion sense of this.
Right.
And and I mean, you haven't even seen us with our loop station yet, but when we have our loop station,
Have you ever?
I don't think I have.
it's so different because we have like a whole big ass show.
I did see a video that you guys had done using the loop station.
Yeah,
and
you
it
know,
was
so
blown
it's
away.
like
yeah.
that kind
Rain
of
Cat,
thing. Like,
yeah.
it's like that
It's
kind of
such a
thing
good
where
video, right? It sounds
It really
so
is
good.
good. It is good.
And it's like that
Yeah.
kind of thing where I definitely am the percussionist in the fam, and I know what I'm doing here, and she knows what she's doing there, and we do definitely take our.
There's so many times where I'm just
knowledge.
like, this harmony is shit, and she's like, this strumming pattern is shit, and I'm like,
Yeah, and
Thanks.
it's great.
There you
And then
go.
she
She's like,
works out
thanks.
amazing, but it took years for me to understand. A part of my anxiety attack. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but a part of that for me was, at some point, I just kind of realized that I wasn't living my life for me.
Right. Right. Sure.
And, I mean, I don't mean to make it real serious, but I didn't ever think that I was. And as soon as I started doing things for myself and playing music for me and doing music with Katy and expressing ourselves through song or covers or whatever, however we may
just taking
have
the opportunity
wanted.
to
Right.
even if you, so for example, one of the first songs we learned was Semi-Charmed Life, which is about doing crystal meth.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's
neither
the silliest thing
neither
ever.
of us have ever done or been addicted to crystal meth, but it just felt really good to scream emotionally, pointedly.
It
and
wasn't
just be
about the
like,
crystal meth at that point. It was just about
it's like,
this
it's
is
all
a
that
song
I
that's
want to do, just a little.
expressive.
Now I feel myself
Yeah.
heavy off the ground, and it's like, even though you're
For
not
a
doing
moment,
crystal
I
meth, it feels good to scream.
Yeah.
And like,
for a moment, I just felt okay to just be out. And this was what music did for me. You know what I mean? Music did a lot of things for everybody, and I'm sure that you have your experiences too, and I'm sure that everybody does. But for me, and I don't know that I can speak for you, but
You can.
feel like I can. For
You always
us,
can.
music,
10 years we've been together. You can speak for me.
music just without sounding really cliche and without getting too emotional, it really just freed us from these barriers that we were living our whole lives.
Ironically, we're now
she
learning
had-
The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
I
she-
heard that.
She had this this life that she thought that she needed to be, even though she had musical parents. Didn't it take away
I
from the
wanted to
fact
be Yvette.
it didn't take away from the fact that you wanted to have your own life and things like that, and I don't ever take that away from her. Same for me, I wanted to be a musician, and my parents wanted me to be a lawyer, an attorney, or a doctor, or whatever,
Right.
And I
right,
had
right.
all the education for all of that, and I was always very smart, and I did the whole thing. I mean, I graduated high school with a 4.2 GPA and my associate's degree. I did the whole thing, and then I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to.
I hate this.
I hate it. Yeah.
So we met on Halloween, and we started dating in January. But in that in between part, she called me once, and I was texting her, and she was saying, I can't talk right now. I'm in the hospital, and I was like, what? She's like, oh, my heart was having problems because I've been drinking too much Red Bull. And I'm like, stop.
Because I had
Stop.
to. Because if you
Sure, when
think,
you-
of, if you think of being in college, you think of 5 classes at a time,
Uh-huh.
a full-time band,
It made sense, but I
a
was still just
full-time
you're
job
killing
overnight.
yourself.
Man,
don't
I
do
was
that.
so killing myself, and she's right. And
But that's I feel like that's an experience thing. And
You have to test your
and it's
limits.
not about age.
No,
Per
it's-
se,
it's about
because
experience.
you have people in their 50s that run themselves into the ground daily.
I mean, I did this at
Yeah,
You're so
I
right.
did this
You're
at
so right.
19.
So it's
I
It
did
has,
it-
it
experience.
has nothing to do with age. You're right.
It's experience in a way that it's like self-awareness.
Yeah.
You have to go, and you had that. It took you moving out of your comfort zone, going to New Orleans, having that whole ordeal, and then having someone like Katy to kind of break you out of that and say, okay, now that you've hit that wall, here we
time
are.
to
I remember.
turn around.
I remember the first
you can't
time
just hit the
Katy-
wall and keep going. You have to hit the wall and you have to turn around and change yourself.
I remember the
you have
first
to
time.
figure it out.
I remember the
Yeah.
first time that you told me, "Hey, we can actually make a living doing this," and I looked at her in her goddamn face, and I was like,
You're fucking lying.
"No, we can't."
When we first met,
I'm
she
sorry,
was like,
but I don't know what kind of fucking clouded bubble you're living in.
When
but
we met-
cannot make a living doing
when
this.
we met, she was 17. I had just turned 9. She had just turned. Our birthdays are one day apart, so she had
But
just
2
turned,
years apart
2
also,
years.
yeah.
So she just turned 19. I had just turned 17, and she was like, "What do your parents do?" And I'm like, "They're in a band." And she's like, "Great. How do they pay their bills?" And I'm like, "They're in a band."
Play music.
And they play music,
But I could never understand that.
My parents
Yeah.
have been divorced at that point. They
But-
had just been divorced, and they still had duo gigs and they still had band gigs, and my parents, I love them both individually dearly, but like, god damn, are they terrible in a relationship together. Like, they're super, super good together professionally, and they can really hold it together, and they sing so well together. Like, I mean, they made babies.
It's honestly really inspiring for me going
they
through
made
a
children, and they hated each other, and they still made great fucking music. And I was just like, listen, if my parents in their worst ways can make money playing music, then we can fucking do this. And she's just like, that's so crazy. And I'm like, I know, but like,
right.
Why the fuck would we not try?
But you guys all have to understand, when you're coming from like a very like, I don't even know, well educated, which makes it sound really shitty and like higher than anybody, which I don't want it to, because it's not. But just from a very like corporate, I guess, family. Corporate is a word. My, stepdad at the time was working at a bank. He's VP of Chase. My mother is working at a company where she's in HR and high up in it. And then they're both like trying to like steer me in this direction. And I'm like, man, this is not for me. I fucking hate all of this. Right. I hate everything about it. I don't want to do any of it.
You didn't want any part of it, but then you were doing everything. You were doing the most
because that's what I grew up in.
Towards that, yeah.
It's what I grew up in. It's what I know. And
well, sure. Well, it's just like we were talking about earlier, like what you grow up into, because now you're on the other end of a spectrum. Because we were talking about the crime in New Orleans and how they were kind of raised up in this lifestyle, but then you have the other end of a spectrum where you're raised up into, you got to go to college, you have to do this, we want you to do this.
I will say this,
but like similar sort of.
I will say this though, and I will say this with confidence. The thing that I've always been told in my entire life from my parents and from other people around me is, nobody can ever take your education away from you.
That was seriously.
No matter.
All of her family who's ever met me is like, you're an American. You can go to college. You should take this up. And I'm like,
but also not even about that. Not even nobody can ever take education from you. But let me just make it real for like a hot second. If you're brown and you're existing in this country, you need to have an education, because if you don't have something to stand up on, then you get judged immediately. It doesn't matter.
And also you can be very easily like victimized and like targeted.
You get victimized. I mean, if I got pulled over by a cop tomorrow, if I was driving home from here tonight and I got pulled over, I would be scared. If Katie was driving home, I wouldn't be as scared for her. I would feel like, she's white presenting. Not that she's white, but she's white presenting.
It depends on who I'm next to.
No, you're exactly right. And this is something that exists in the world, not just here in America, but worldwide.
Totally.
This is an issue in a lot of places.
And people here think that like we're the only ones protesting this, but it's like everybody around the world.
There's people all over the world who are protesting the virus and also Black Lives Matter. And I'm not trying to get super political on your podcast,
and we don't need
to.
But I'm just saying that, like, that's just the reality.
Yeah, but this is real stuff. This is you hit it on the head. This is real things that are happening in real life.
It's just the life that I live. When I go jogging, for example, in our neighborhood, in our gated neighborhood,
is so scary.
In our gated neighborhood, when I go jogging and I see another person, especially if they're a white person, my instinct is not to be like, let me keep jogging. My instinct is to stop and walk very quietly and peacefully around them. And when I feel like I'm at a safe distance away from them, then I can start jogging again. But that's not shit that I should ever fucking have to think about. You know what I mean?
The fucked up thing is, do you remember, it was the beginning of May. It was around Mother's Day weekend. We were vacationing at a spring. And that was when that man got shot in, I think it was Florida, for like jogging somewhere, and somebody thought he was a threat and they shot him.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so he was shot by, not only like some guy got out of his car and was just like, bang.
It's a dad and the guy.
Son,
the dad and the guy.
And his son got out and also shot him. And they were like, oh, he's a threat. We should both.
And he was just jogging, man.
Whatever. It was super fucked up. And so, like, that weekend, we were hanging out at a Springs, having a good time, doing our thing.
With our, like, very Caucasian friends.
Our friends and, like, their friends and whatever. It was a great time. This woman was kind of confusing. But then she was saying that, like, how sometimes when like Black Lives Matter isn't like a really big thing, and like how Black people like put themselves in compromising situations and then they get shot and then they're like, oh, Black Lives Matter, and I'm like oh, compromising situations, like going
Like
for a jog
how?
in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
This was that weekend, and I was just like,
I mean, you know, honestly, we're not here to get political.
No, but you're right. But that's the kind of
It is-
mentality that
yeah.
needs to be educated out of people.
I
because
agree.
And so we
because
spoke-
you can't just explain it to somebody and then it filter like it's not. And not to say that it shouldn't. That should be the way that it works. Like you say,
Totally.
"Oh man, that makes sense to me," and now I need to change how I think. It's not the way it works.
It's
so-
not
You know
about
what,
that.
though?
Yeah, you're
So-
totally,
You know
what,
you're
though?
totally right. You're
I
totally
will say
right.
this is an extreme thing that happened, but the other side of that is that we went to a rally, we went to a protest, and this guy was sitting out there. And he was a white guy,
Oh, this is a separate thing.
and he had a sign up, and it said "All Lives Matter." And
And
we were like,
I turned to him.
What's happening? And so Katie turns to him. She's like, Why do you have the sign up? Like, this is really offensive.
Somebody honked for Black Lives Matter, and he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Why does your sign say all lives matter?" Then, like, if you believe, if what you're cheering for is the Black Lives Matter protest, then why does your sign say all lives matter? And he was like, "Because all lives matter, including Black lives." And I was
Yeah,
like,
but that's not the conversation.
and that was what I said.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
I was like,
Right.
I was like,
And so
listen.
she did
I was
her
like,
part.
so, but you're totally right. All lives do matter. That is the point.
Clearly. I mean, obviously.
Black lives, white lives, Chinese lives, Dominican lives,
Yeah.
Chilean lives, like Canadian lives. Like every human that lives exists and matters, and we should all support that. So, but what we are currently protesting is, and the reason that we're all sitting here together is against this store that's across the street that is a shirt that says racist, like it's a proud thing, and we're just trying to bring light to the Black Lives Matter thing. So he was like, because all lives matter, and I was like, right, but that's not the point.
But then-
it's not
right
a
now-
it's not a good argument. It
I was
shouldn't
like,
be an
right-
argument at all. But it's certainly not a good rebuttal against.
And so
Yeah.
I
against
said, I was
that.
like, you're right. All lives definitely do matter, but right now we're focusing on one thing, and your sign makes you look a little bit ignorant. Makes you look
And
very
you
ignorant.
know
and
what?
he was like, "Do you want me to change my sign?" And I was like, "Yep."
And you know what I
was like,
did?
back there, there's a table and markers. Go ahead. And Shanice was like, "I'll walk you back there."
I literally, after she did her whole thing with him, I was like, I will walk you back there and I will explain to you why this is a problem, because he couldn't understand it even still. And so I walked him back to the table, and I'm saying to him, so like, this is why it works. And I equated it to dogs. I said, like, if you have two dogs and one of them that goes missing,
doesn't mean you don't.
it
love
doesn't mean
both
you
of
don't
them.
love both of them. The dog that's here, of course you love that, but you're also more concerned about your dog that's missing, right?
Right.
You're like very concerned, and like, this dog is in danger.
So
and
your
you need to be
posters
here.
aren't going to be like, "I have two
Right.
dogs." You're going to be like, "This one
And
dog
I,
is
you
missing."
know, the thing
Yeah.
is, the thing that I found through all of these rallies and
but
everything,
like
and
he went back there and he
Yeah.
changed his sign, and he came back with the sign that said
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
He
And I was
did.
Well,
like,
good.
I was like,
literally-
that's the point. Like,
That
you're
is the
right.
point,
I was
yeah.
like,
I
you're
walked
totally
him
right.
back.
Like, everybody matters.
I walked him back and I explained it all to him, and he was like, "Yeah, oh my God, you're so right." Like, these were words he was saying to me, like, "You're so right. I'm so sorry. I was so ignorant." And he left, and then literally not even 15 minutes later, we saw him up with the sign at like right at the street with a Black Lives Matter.
He was
poster.
standing. The thing that made
But
us
it's, you know,
even
it's
want to
what
say,
you were saying before. It's just educating people. It's not
Yep.
about. It's not
he
about
was
people
already
not understanding.
standing.
It's just
He had-
educating
his
people.
sign said, "All lives matter. God bless us all." And I just said, "Why does your sign say that?" And he was like, "I love everybody." And I was like, "I understand that you're trying to be supportive." He was alone. He didn't come with friends. He didn't come with a partner or like anything. It was a lone man who had come to a rally and was on the same side as everybody.
Right.
And there was one other guy across the street who had an American flag with a swastika on it.
Oh my God.
And he was trying to
Lovely.
say, he was trying to say Americans
I have to
are
pee because I also have the child.
he was trying to
I said it,
he's a
and
child.
I own up to it.
He was trying to say Americans are being like Nazis or whatever, and he was trying to be on our side, but he was sort of fucking it up.
Well, that's the thing.
And so I was just trying to talk to this guy. I was
Yeah.
like, you are obvious. He was standing on our side. The other guy was standing on the other side of the street. And I was like, if you're on our side and you're cheering for our things, I want you to understand that your message is coming across as ignorant. And your sign saying all lives matter, while they do, they totally do. Right now, we're focusing on the
Sure, but with back to the
whatever.
To the,
I'm sorry to get it so
well,
political.
no, but to the example that you guys gave about the dogs.
Yes.
You know, like, that's absolutely right. Like, we get it. All lives matter. That's all
that's
lives
literally the point.
all lives
That's
aren't
literally
in
the point.
imminent danger because of the behavior that is just
Taught.
just allowed or is
Yes.
just quickly swept under, and that's or I'm sorry, let me finish that sentence.
Please.
Swept under the rug, you know?
Yeah.
It's now being called out, and that's important. You know, is it the best
Totally.
step? Is it the best reason? Absolutely not. Like, people shouldn't have to die for you to go, oh, maybe we should.
Black lives do matter.
Yeah, maybe we should come back and revisit this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it should be a
but also,
conversation
like, I
all
mean,
the time.
It seems like
It
you
shouldn't
are.
even be a conversation that I should have with Katie or with Amanda, who, like, I'm like, you know what, if I get pulled over, I don't know. If I get pulled over for a speeding ticket, I don't fucking know.
Right.
And I have had
We
this
were in Mississippi
I have-
once, and we got pulled over, and we were like, "This was like
Thankfully,
3
it was
years
a-
ago." And we were
Thankfully,
like,
it was
shit.
a black cop. But I mean, goddamn, if it wasn't, like, I've had this conversation with Katie all the time. I'm like, you know what? I don't know what's gonna happen.
We missed
and
our
if
exit
something
once.
does happen, like, just look around.
We were coming.
if,
We were
you
coming
know.
from I-10
Yeah.
from New Orleans into Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you make the trip, it's I-10 to 75.
Mm-hmm.
75 turns at like Lake City. If you miss that turn, you have to go all the way to Jacksonville and then take 95 south
Yep.
to get to Port St. Lucie anyway. And so we missed our turn for Lake City, and we're like, well, I guess we'll just take 95. But we had to get gas, and so we were in like bumfuck northern Florida, which, as everybody knows, is agricultural nothing land.
Right.
It's nothing. It's Joe and his farm, and John and his farm, and it's their family and whatever. And I'm not at all trying to be negative or insensitive or whatever, but just it was right after the election when we had a lot of our like stripper friends or like sex worker friends who had been like
exotic dance
assaulted.
offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who had been like literally on
I mean, we're living in New
Bourbon
Orleans at this
Street
point.
in New Orleans,
Sure.
who had been grabbed in the way that our lovely president had expressed.
So many
was
of our
most
friends
appropriate.
said, "Hey,
literally,
a
like,
guy grabbed them by
grabbed.
their pussy," and some of them
My
said,
my president says this is okay."
said it's okay, so I'm gonna do it. And
Whatever.
these are words
So-
that they heard from
and
their.
then
from
we
So
did,
wild, man.
we just gone to Texas, and there was a lot of like, so Shanice and our band leader at the time, they were getting stuff out of the car, and they're like, "Oh, were you stealing shit?" And they're
And
trying to
we're-
be funny.
we're
And it's
the
like, that's
only-
not fucking funny.
We're the only brown ones, and this is literally, I'm not even joking. This is the night after the President Trump
Election.
has got
so
elected.
we had a lot of negative interactions, and we were very nervous just because of our
And, like-
personal experience and also like secondhand experience.
Sure.
And so we stopped up at a gas station, and they had like a giant fucking Confederate flag, like a huge. It was seriously like
It's like you
biggest
having that
fucking flag I've ever seen in my
right
life.
there. It's like that. It was
Huge.
like that real.
It was
like,
this big ass Confederate flag, and I'm just like, so
You
you
know.
hate you hate anybody who isn't white enough to look free. And it was just scary.
It made us really
It was just
uncomfortable.
weird and scary, and it's just so awful that we have to feel that way because like it's 2020 and like everybody is free and like we
Okay,
should
but
just be
also
people.
not only am I gay.
Sorry,
not
I'm
only
sorry.
am-
We're getting so political on your podcast right now.
No, man, this is real talk. You know,
Not
I
only
mean,
though am I gay, but I'm brown, right? I'm a person of color, and I'm poly. So like I have everything literally working against me, right? So then when I get pulled over,
I'm brown
and just
I'm
a
gay.
woman in general.
I love
and,
two
Yeah.
women.
right? And you
and
know, as
you're a
Jordan is
woman.
saying, literally, she's got the best fucking point. Is also I'm just a woman.
So
it
really,
doesn't
you
even
should
matter.
be the big threat to
Everything-
everyone, not like
Not everybody
Yeah.
fucking
You
up on Shanice.
Everything I
Yeah, you
said
got
before,
a big gay black woman.
Yeah, you got
everything
the
I
tallies.
said before this moment doesn't even matter because she's got the fucking best point right here. It doesn't even matter what I am because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And that on
That
its
starts
own,
Also,
there,
women
yeah.
are a huge threat because
that
you
on
know,
its own
sex is such a
threat,
weapon.
and
Yes.
it's so shitty. And then here I am. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a
I mean,
woman.
it is,
I'm
but-
gay. I'm brown, and I have 2 girlfriends. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So for me, that's scary as shit.
It was just super
You
weird.
know?
I don't know. How
Especially
we got here
living in a
anyway
place
the
like
first place,
here. Especially
Oh.
living in a place like Florida where it's like, you know, you guys are open-minded and I love you guys. And we
I
definitely
feel
encounter a lot of
comfortable.
people who are open-minded, you know, for
but most
sure.
often we feel comfortable, but
Yeah.
there are too many times.
But yes.
If it's one, like how many? I'm not at all trying to like call you out or criticize you or say anything negative about you at all. But
Mm-hmm.
like, how many times have you ever gone somewhere and you felt like because of
You
who
were-
you
you
are has made you feel like you should be scared?
Oh, I can honestly and confidently say very, very seldom, and probably only I could count on my hand and not use all my digits, have I ever been into a situation where I felt uncomfortable because
of who you
because
are.
of who I am.
And so for me,
Yeah.
that automatically escalates.
And I know,
me,
and I'm not,
we
you know,
were,
like
we were at Super Play one year, years ago.
Super Play
Years
in Port
ago.
St. Lucie.
And we had
literally
we
10
were like
years
playing
ago.
games. And we
Yeah.
were like, oh, this is really fun. It's 10 years ago. We like won a thing, and I embraced her. I didn't kiss her. I didn't hug her.
No, she got a whole bunch of tickets.
I did a thing like we would do you would do for any of your best friends that are female.
She said,
you would do for any of your friends.
what do I get with all these tickets?
You
We
know?
just won like 100 tickets,
I
and we're like, do we
hadn't-
get 50 Jolly Ranchers or whatever?
But
And
I
was
hadn't like interrupted. I hadn't done anything like
I said-
crazy or
I
like
said, get whatever you want.
manipulative
I
or like
kissed her on the
sexual
cheek.
or anything.
I kissed her on the cheek. I said, get whatever you want, baby. And I kissed her on the cheek. And this woman,
That was it. It was
this
the
woman
extent.
behind us grabbed her son and like
two
hit his,
sons, her
and like
both of her
grabbed them
sons.
and was just like, Jesus Christ, there are children here.
And then Katie,
God.
and then Katie's,
I was like,
Katie's brother was
"Excuse
there,
me."
and he was in the bathroom at the time. But when he came back, we told him what happened. and
but everyone in church drink out of the same fucking disgusting glass.
but like kiss me on the cheek and it's a fucking devil's work. Like,
Girl, and we hadn't done anything. The most that she had done was just kiss me on the cheek.
On the
like,
cheek?
like my best friend,
Get
even
whatever
away
you
from
want.
Katie, my best friend in the entire world is way more affectionate with me than Katie can ever be. And I would say that
She's
with
right.
confidence.
She's
to the
right.
point where like Katie felt uncomfortable about that.
She's right.
So, you know what I mean? And then this woman does this, and her brother comes back from the bathroom. And we're telling him about this. He's like, "Who the fuck this? Where the fuck is she at?" You know? And like, I appreciate that, but you know, it's a thing that you live with being a gay woman or a gay person or a gay brown person or whatever. A person.
life is hard for everybody.
Yeah, it's hard, and
Life is hard for everybody.
and
Nobody
you-
needs to make it any worse for anybody else because of the color of their skin or because of their sexual preferences. Just love everybody. It's
Yes,
okay.
and I think the biggest
I'm
thing
sorry
is
if that's not
that
what you believe, but like, fuck.
I think the biggest
Yeah.
thing is just that, like, you know, it shouldn't
We're all
matter.
friends. It's okay. It doesn't matter.
Why is
Yeah,
this
right.
woman looking at me and looking at my girlfriend and thinking anything? If
I want a fucking
if
kid.
I were,
like,
if I were there with my boyfriend, honestly speaking, to both of you,
Sure.
if I were there with a male presenting person,
Mhm.
with his arms around me and him kissing me, do
On
you
the
think that we
cheek,
would
on the
ever
cheek.
on the cheek and
Well-
hugging me? Do you think that we would ever in any circumstance get the same kind of hate that we did? that
Judging
night?
by the reaction that this woman had, absolutely not, because that is her normal, and that's a point in that.
That's
people,
my point, you
People
know?
need to mind their own business. I
Yeah.
think that's a start.
Mind your business.
Yo,
You know,
mind your fucking self.
Katie's mom says it to us all the time. You know what? I don't care what you guys do behind closed doors. It's not my fucking business. When you're in
Keep
front
your
of me,
business. Mind your.
when you're in front of me, you know, be
Exactly.
as you
If you're
would
not
be.
hurting me,
Exactly.
My
Don't
mom.
care.
My mom. So
Like-
when I came home, I mean, my mother's a very interesting individual
I'm gonna
woman.
just casually pour us a drink while this is happening. It's fine.
casual.
Thank you for the cocktails,
I'm
by
very
the way.
casual.
Thanks for the James in the cocktails. It has
Of
been
course.
so much great, so much wonderful. I'm super happy to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for having us.
Ditto.
Of course.
It is
Absolutely.
our pleasure.
Thanks
We're
for
talking so
coming.
much
Yes,
shit.
I'm sorry.
And it feels
I'm sorry
really
to make
nice.
this really political, but you guys are both very sweet, and I
It
love you
feels-
both.
No, but I'm happy to have you here, and I'm happy to have a real conversation with you. You know, because
I'm happy.
I'm sure that you've been in situations where it was like, come in, play your songs, tell us where you've been, what you've done, and then move on. But like, this is
Yeah.
the whole idea.
and we've wanted to talk to
Yeah.
you guys forever.
Sure. And
You
the
know
whole
what,
the whole
though,
idea
but-
of this show is to bring a different light to what we do and who we are as entertainers, because you get to go and see our beautiful faces performing
You
on the
don't get to
stage.
talk about it
but you
too
don't,
much.
Yeah, and you don't get to.
And you get your
There was-
little,
Yeah.
you get your little break, and then you're back.
There
and,
was
like,
somebody. So
then
we
you
had
leave.
we played a gig a few weeks ago where we went on stage and we did our thing and we were like, "Thanks so much. We're the little things. Thanks for hanging out with us. Whatever." Da da da. We did a song and we finished, and this person was like. And I feel like, I'm sorry, I feel you can understand the, like, you know, the look when you're being objectified.
Oh,
And it's
God,
just,
the
it's not
li-
even,
the,
it's
like,
not
lady.
even like,
It's not even a race thing. It's just at that point, it's a woman.
it's
It's a
totally
woman.
an objectification thing. It has nothing to do with who you are or what they look like or what you look like. But like when, as a female presenting human, as a male presenting human, will look at you and you know, or even if it's a female, they're like objectifying you and they're looking at you as what your sexual organs. And he went, ukulele hotties. And I went, we're called the little things. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, man.
And he went, and the table next to us went,
And in the table next to us, the table next to us,
they were
was
all gay. And
like maybe 80%
liberal and-
lesbian. So like they were like, oh, this is
But,
not
like,
gonna go well for
They
him.
were like, ooh.
it's just,
And
I mean,
this guy was like, ooh, ukulele hotties.
but you know
and
what
I was
I
like,
mean, though?
don't fucking tell me that you think I am playing music for you. I am not here for you to sexualize. If you think that I'm sexy, that's great.
but don't
Give
fucking
me
announce
fucking
it.
money.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
fucking
it,
tell
you
me you
know?
want to have sex with me. I don't care.
But you can even understand, I think, Brad, that like even not
I
being
don't
a woman,
care that
obviously,
you
like
wanna
you
sex
can
with me.
understand the
Yeah.
like hate that we all
Keep that to
get.
yourself.
I'm
Oh,
sure that
yeah.
you experienced
Pay
it
me.
with Jordan, and I expect that you experienced
Pay
it
me
with
for the sex
any
that I
other
didn't give
female
you.
in your life.
it's
It's hard. It's hard for females.
sometimes,
Guys think
sometimes
I'm sure you
what's-
get that with women too, because women
Yeah.
can be totally predatory.
No,
Oh my God, yeah,
Listen,
the drunk old
We are
ladies.
not.
Drunk old women are just like,
They're
I'm
the
a woman,
worst.
it's innocent.
Let me
I'm like,
be-
no, you're a fucking
let me
predator,
be
cougar.
clear.
Chill it out.
Let me be clear when I say this. I do not think that it's only a guy alone thing. I think
Not at
that
all.
women
sure.
can still be the same predatory.
I've
like,
seen creepy
shitty
ass
way.
lesbian women hit
Yeah.
on me, and they're like, "Oh,
But
so you're
they're
like in a
really weird,
relationship,
yeah.
like whatever."
It's-
And I'm like, "No,
it's the
not
same-
whatever."
It's the same as anything else.
Everything is
When you have something that happens all the time versus things that don't happen all the time, you have to. I mean that's there's a radar there. If it's happening all the time and it's not welcome, it's a negative thing.
Yeah.
That needs to be addressed. If it happens sporadically, it doesn't make it right. But just like all lives matter, Black Lives Matter, that gets put on the back burner because this is clear and present danger happening right now. This
It's
is-
not. It's
You're
not
right.
that
You know?
white people don't get killed. It's not that Hispanic people don't
It's
get
not-
killed. It's
that's
not
it.
that anything.
It's not that cops don't get
it-
killed.
It's not that cops don't get killed. It's not that
Yeah.
people aren't shitty and just kill people because they're fucking terrible.
Right.
It's that specifically this thing is happening, and
So
like,
I saw-
and so specifically, unfortunately, more than others,
Mm-hmm.
women are targeted. And women are
Black women
seen it-
especially.
I mean, of course, and
Yeah.
black trans women or whatever. But like,
Yeah, definitely.
female presenting humans are more often targeted than male presenting humans because, I mean, I saw this thing the other day that was like, it's crazy to me that I have a boyfriend makes the man stop and respect a male he's never met more than a female in front of his face saying,
Yeah.
please stop.
Like if someone were to hit on me and I said to them, "Hey, I've got a girlfriend."
How many times have you said to a man who's hitting
They
on you,
wouldn't
whether you had a
stop.
boyfriend or not? How many times have you said like, "No, I've got a boyfriend"? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like once or twice or whatever. But like the fact of like thinking to say like, "Stop, I have a boyfriend," and the thinking that saying, "I have a peripheral man who you've never met who means nothing to you." But like knowing that this man exists will make this person in front of me respect me more.
I think that
How fucked up is that?
I
you
think
know?
that a big thing for Katie and I is especially that we
I've said that
obviously,
before
like,
as dating
came
a
into-
woman.
We came into our 20s living in New Orleans.
Yep.
Hands down, we did.
We
We moved
It's a
there.
fact.
That's a wild town
It's
to
a
come
yeah.
into your 20s.
And we moved there when, you know, I was 19
I
and she
wasn't
was
even
17.
18,
She
yeah.
was 18, you know. We were like young and we moved there. And, you know, we came into our 20s there. We didn't even move out of there. I mean, we've been in Florida for maybe about, what, a year and a half, maybe
Like
2
2
years. But it's because we went from New Orleans to traveling the world for 2 years to coming back here so that we could, like, figure it out, whatever. But, you know, the fact that we came into women there doesn't really give anybody else here a fucking chance, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no,
Because,
somebody
like,
tries to
True.
touch on it, I'm
okay,
like, nope.
get out of my fucking
Nope.
face because you're fucking wrong. Because no, and first of all, no. Second of all, no. And third of all, fuck to the no.
I once had my arm around Shanice, like this, like this, you know, like over the shoulder kind of thing, and some guy
It's fine.
came up behind us, in between us, put my arm under mine, and like pulled her like this. And I was like,
I mean, this is
Excuse-
Halloween
and
night.
this is a stranger, yeah.
Yeah,
A total-
Halloween night in New Orleans. We're in Halloween night, so it's like a pretty big night.
It was
it's-
it was
it's
Halloween
real.
weekend. Halloween in New Orleans is really big, so we were out. We were
It's like
dressed
Mardi
up.
Gras light, you know. Halloween in New Orleans is like
Right,
Mardi Gras. It's
right,
real.
right, right.
So we were out. We were dressed up. We were literally standing on the fucking street, right at the corner of Frenchman and like between the Frenchman and the Quarter, so like Frenchman and Esplanade, where they meet there by the fire station, and I put my arm. We were standing there. We were watching people walk by, just
and like you know, before she goes on, not to be really like. This sounds a little bit racist, but not to be racist or anything. But in New Orleans, like I was the one that always got the attention all the time because I'm just like a brown girl with like big curly hair, and I'm like I'm cute and
there's a bigger like ethnic
know,
population.
All shucks.
No, but you know, there's a bigger community for me. Where it's like since we've been here,
so modest.
Since we've been here, for example, though, like
it's
been switch, you know, and like that's fine. But like that's what we were at the time.
Shanice was much more the desired, beautiful woman.
When we were walking down the street, I'm saying, I'm not like
it doesn't matter what we fucking look like and who the fuck we were, whatever. But this person, this man, this stupid man person decided to separate two people who are interlocked with each other, and he was like, trying to pull her away, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? Get your hands off my woman.
Imagine you and her.
And he was like,
your arm around her, like literally like holding her.
If you guys were holding each other.
And then some guy comes in and he's like wedges in between you.
And he said.
And he would never do that to you because you're a straight relationship, right? Which we can all understand. Because that will never happen. But because we were two women doing that with each other, obviously it was an opening for him.
I said... I decided to be possessive. I'm not this kind of person to be like my woman or whatever. But I was like, get your hands off my woman. And it was like, oh, you're a woman? And I was like, yes, my fucking woman. We've been dating for
it's actually really
6 years or whatever. Funny. I was like, what the fuck? And he was just like, oh, he like looked at me and was like, and he like rolled his eyes and he looked at Shanice and he was like, hey baby, what's your name? And I realized at that point,
she literally I couldn't even answer before she was like,
it was like literally instantaneous. I was like, he's not going to respect me because I'm a woman. He doesn't care that I am with her. He has no respect for my relationship. Whatever I say will not matter. He's going to pursue this. I can't say we're in a relationship and he's going to stop.
Right.
And so my brain kind of like dug into the deep, deep, dark recesses of my mind, and I was like, if I was a man, he would respect me.
This is actually really funny.
So
you're welcome, everybody who's listening to this. Please continue, Katie.
He like looked to Shanice and was like, hey baby, what's your name? And I interrupted and I was like, my name is Ratmaster 5000. It's nice to meet you. Serious in the face. And he was like,
he's like, looking at her like, what is happening?
He was super confused, and I was like, it's my chosen name. I have become this person who now identifies mostly as Ratmaster 5000, and it's truly my truth and my reality. And
she went on about a whole thing for like, I'm not even joking, like 30 minutes about how
this guy was super confused.
We went through a transition together.
Oh yeah, he was
we found it really hard in a relationship. It was a hard thing for us to work us too.
And he was like, he looked at me and he up and down. He's like, Ratmaster 5000. I was just like, you have no fucking respect. In my head, I was like, you don't care. You don't care. All you want is to fuck this woman. And you think that if you're smooth enough that you will, no matter her situation, be able to extract her from her friends and take her home and fuck her. I understand that. I respect that. There are so many women out there who want that. And like, you can get that. And like, I'm not.
Yeah, but it's like at that point, like, dude.
I'm not.
Go find that person.
I'm trying to say very gently, wrong fucking angle, buddy.
But also though.
But he looked at me and he was just like, what the fuck? So I decided to turn to him and say, would you believe me if I told you I was born male? And he looked at me like, he was like, now that you say it, I can kind of see it. And I was just like, damn. We went through all of our surgeries.
He was like, literally like, well, now that you say it.
I was like, we went through all of my surgeries together. I have totally. I've identified myself.
She went off on this whole tangent about how like we went off on this whole thing together because she was transitioning, and we have been here for each other forever. Oh my God.
And I
was
understand,
like believing all of this.
I know that is like inappropriate in like
a
lot of different kind of ways, but I knew that he wouldn't respect me if he didn't see me as a man.
So
and
she was like, I'm transitioning from a man to woman.
I'm taking this and I'm fucking running with it. And he was like, and he kept trying to talk to her, but anytime he would ask her a question, I would answer. and like he felt like he had to listen to me because he thought I was a man, which is super fucking interesting.
You should have then like followed it up by him being like, and guess what? Yes, I still have my dick, and it's bigger than yours. Do you want to see?
Yeah,
I did. I was just like, I was like, and like, so you kind of want to fuck her, but like, you're
should have, right?
I was like, but you're kind of cute. Like,
Yeah, I could put this dick right in your ass. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, like, you want some of this or not? Because like, it's pretty big. I'm sure it's bigger than yours. Let's go. You want to meet me at the Dragon's Den bathroom?
But do you still want to hit on her?
I want to
totally
meet me at
did.
the Dragon's
I
Den
leaned-
bathroom because we can make this happen.
I leaned into it, and I was just like, I know I've got these like wonderful breasts.
No. But I mean,
they're
obviously,
fake,
in all seriousness,
and I augmented them, but like I'm still like the same downstairs.
in all seriousness, when we lived in,
I like leaned into it, and he was just so uncomfortable that he eventually was just like, "Have a nice night." And he walked away, and I was like, "How
Finally.
fucking pathetic is your masculinity that you feel threatened by another man, but like not by another woman?"
And why the hell did it take so long?
Yeah.
Fucking
So-
it was
so,
like a whole
like-
10 minute, 20 minutes
so,
long conversation. I was like, what the fuck?
Literally though, in
Sorry,
all
I'm
seriousness, when we lived in New Orleans, in all seriousness, because I was just like
Hot
a black
shit.
girl, and
Hot
I was
shit.
like, I had my
You were hot shit.
like, you know, whatever.
Everybody wanted you.
I got like a
I
lot
was
of
like
fucking
second-
attention, and so like it was honestly, it was not a good thing though, to the point where it was uncomfortable for me. I hated it. I didn't really want it that much.
No, it wasn't.
And then
great.
when things like this happened, I would just walk away. I would let her handle it because I was like, man, I would look at guys in the face, in the fucking eyes. I'm not even joking, Brad, or Jordan. I would look at them in the eyes and I would say, you don't want to get into this with Katy right now, but if you do, she's right here. I'm gonna walk away. I would literally say, like, you don't want to do this with this bro, with this bitch right now.
I'm trying to warn you.
I'm literally
I'm trying to save your life.
I will exactly. I am trying to save you, but if you don't want to be saved, I'm gonna go get a drink.
Listen,
Katy, I love you. Meet me in 20 minutes when you're done
Yeah,
with
right.
this.
I will stick her on
Bye.
you.
Yeah,
Totally.
Like literally, she was like my Rottweiler. You know, she was like fucking in there and like getting these bitches, and I was like,
Totally.
oh, yeah,
Totally.
man.
She-
You know,
I
was never like, you know, obviously like the attention is nice and blah 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 and whatever. Like I'm human, so I like it.
But like
Whatever.
having someone
Yeah.
tell
But
you
to
pretty
the
is
point,
one thing.
to
but
the
like,
point where
Right.
they disrespect.
Like know where the line is.
Yes,
hey, you're super
disrespect-
beautiful. Thank you.
They
disrespect-
Hey, girl, stop.
Yeah.
They disrespect my
I don't care.
relationship. They disrespect my relationship with her. There's been so many people where I met guys. I was walking on the street and I was paying a parking meter, and guys were like,
Oh my
I just want
God.
to tell you that you're so goddamn
so
beautiful.
beautiful.
And I think that you're amazing. And I want you to know that. No disrespect. And they kept walking, and that was amazing.
one thing.
Those guys were the best guys. But I will tell you, more so than those were the pervy ones. Were the ones that did this.
Yeah. It's not
And, like,
cute.
New Orleans
It's
is
not
a
a cute
gem.
That was
look.
one
Yes.
of the only
It's not
guys who put his hands on Shanice.
New Orleans was a gem,
had other
and I've
people-
loved it. But at the same time, though, it
I think
definitely is
lot,
that life.
a
you know
lot
what
of
I
the
mean?
part of living in New Orleans is, and we were talking about this the other day, or yesterday, or today, or whatever, is like New Orleans has the biggest sort of thing is like laissez-faire, like I'll handle it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like fuck, I had to go to the bank. I'll go tomorrow.
We literally had that conversation.
It's like
today.
it's like 11:30. You've got 5 hours to go to the bank, but you're like, I really don't fucking want to go.
so laissez-faire.
So you're just like,
so laissez-faire.
I'll just go tomorrow. So like everybody and that attitude permeates the whole city, and like, oh, somebody's bothering me, whatever. I'll just ignore it. I'll just push them off and like do something else. And like, it's still aggressive enough to be like, fucking stop. But it's not like directly like, hey, stop. It's like, I am now suddenly paying
yeah.
attention to something else, you know? And I think a big part of our personalities has come from that. Just sort of like, later, whatever. Who cares?
I mean, if you think
Who
about
fucking
it, we moved to
cares?
New
Like,
Orleans when she was
tomorrow.
17. I was 19, so we came into our adulthood.
until I was 23.
Yeah,
and
we
you were
came into our
25, yeah.
adulthood in New Orleans. So, like, you know, everything we know growing up and, like, becoming a person and, like, a real human
That's
in
what it's
society
all
Right.
is New Orleans for us. Which
And
is,
you carry that culture with you too, like
Totally. Yeah,
laissez-faire, you know, like
but also,
Totally.
it's completely fucking
And like,
different than anything
laissez
you
le
ever
bon
know
temps
in your
roulette,
life.
let the good times
Yeah.
rolled. It's just like,
right.
like whatever. If it's good, let it keep happening. If it's shitty, who fucking cares? If it's good, keep it going.
Right.
You know, and so
Yeah.
and a lot of our attitude is permeated. A lot of that attitude has permeated our personalities, I should say.
But that's also really funny for you to say because, yes, we definitely have that laissez-faire attitude, but we also have the go-getter attitude. Yeah. Which is that, like, yes, we do have the New Orleans in us, but also, like, you know, there's countries around the world that we need to be in.
Right.
And,
no, I mean, I feel like it's a good combination because it's
totally.
It's a great mix of where you started with running yourself into the ground, trying to do everything, to then kind of adopting this kind of laissez-faire,
who fucking cares,
you know, thought
tomorrow
process
kind of attitude.
So you say there's a lot to be done, but if I need to take a day, for me,
that's okay.
It's okay. You know, obviously, if there's a house burning, then you should probably address that immediately.
But it's like but like one of the things that we were talking about, and like as I'm sure you experienced as us arriving today, is like the gig starts at 8. Right? You have to start performing at 8 o'clock, and you play from 8 o'clock until 11 o'clock. That is the
for
gig.
us, 10 minutes before that gig is like an hour before that gig.
An hour before.
We're like, man, we're on time. We're so goddamn on time.
Too often in NOLA, the drummer will show up at 7:55. You know,
and he's a drummer.
You know,
he's got to set up his.
Yeah, he's got a lot of gear there.
And it takes 25 minutes.
Tell them how early you get to a show.
Oh God, well,
an hour.
I get to my shows like an hour and a half to 2 hours early.
I know because because the last time we saw you at Sneaky Tiki, you were there fucking through our show.
Yeah,
and we were like, why is he here right now?
I was there to drink.
Yeah, and I believe you and I love you for that. But goddamn,
I get to shows early because when I finish set, I have a lot of stuff to set up, and not all of it works properly all the time.
Yeah.
So like, it's a troubleshooting time. Plus, if it all goes off without a hitch, I hate hitting the ground and then going to work. I like to set my stuff up, disappear, and get right, and then come back, and then we go to work.
I could not agree with you more on that sentiment. I do not like to show up to a thing. It's set up
like
and just
1
have to
minute.
Go.
No,
I want to set up and have a half hour. I want to set up and have my moment to like get a drink,
when we were
calm down, speak to people.
Exactly.
You know,
when we were in Edinburgh, when we were in the Fringe Festival. So you have from 5 o'clock until 5:30. That is the time that you have. You have to set up, perform, and get the fuck off the spot by 5:30:05.
You have a half hour.
Right.
So you have a half hour to set it up, get it all down.
So the band. So
whatever.
it's like,
wow.
And that's what we do in the beginning. I was saying earlier, you go to the draw, and like everybody, you put your hat in, and you pick a spot. And then you have a spot from 4 to 4:30, and then from 4:30 to 5, and then from 5 to 5:30, and whatever. Like it goes from like 10 o'clock in the morning on, or for like 11 o'clock in the morning on. So you have, but there are thousands, literally thousands of people who want to perform, and thousands of people who want your specific spot.
Right.
There's only like maybe 200
and
people
sometimes
in the draw,
we get unlucky,
but then there's another 100 people who have set up for the like pre-draw, so like they've already booked 11 o'clock on Friday, and if you fucking want it, you're screwed. They already got it, so you have to do 11.
But the thing is, though,
you have to do 12 or whatever.
So what you do is you have like your little
you have your lanyard
and you put your thing in.
It's all a draw
and
of
they
a hat.
They pick it out like randomly.
Right.
And then
but the thing
you get to choose once they pick it out your time of day. And so like the hardest
you can either choose or have them pre-recorded.
Right.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is that choosing, because a lot of times you're gambling. You don't know it. You're gonna get picked out at first. You're gonna pick it out in the middle. You're gonna pick it out at the end.
So let's say there are 4 solid street performers who, just like us, are there to street perform. They're ready. They're ready for whatever. So it's like Lucy May Walker, who the person who did the Home from Home, us. And then Tash Bird, and then fucking Charlie Law, or whoever who's like prepared. They're all ready. They have a half-hour slot. So the person before you finishes on the hour, and you have only 30 minutes to set up, play, and break down. So we have gotten.
It doesn't seem that bad. It's sounding bad, but it's not, because you do like we're set up in 3 minutes.
Right, so ready to rock and roll.
So basically, what we do is we set up our mic stands and microphones.
That's why we're so quick
and
at setting up
plug
here,
them in
because we're so good at setting up there.
You're conditioned, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why we often show up so sort of what may seem late to whatever, but it's because we can set up and be prepared to perform in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you ladies, let's do some shameless plugs real quick.
Let's do it.
And tell people where you guys are going to be. I think Jeff said that you guys were going to be at just one spot this week.
Yeah,
this weekend we're playing Hurricanes on Saturday from 7 till 10
in Palm City.
Palm City.
Nice,
Palm City.
awesome. So go and check them out there.
While we would like to say that we have more gigs, it is still a very, very serious virus, and we shouldn't be out all the goddamn time.
Wait, you said you're there Saturday?
Yes.
Yes, Saturday. But we're trying to be as careful as we can about all of this.
Yeah.
No, it's
so
smart.
if we do
Absolutely.
have gigs, of course we'll be there, but we're going to be careful there too. But if we don't, we're not going to push it. We're just going to go live as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's our biggest thing right now.
And I've already subscribed to your live, so whenever you go live,
Thanks.
it comes to me. So I just share it to the page.
Please, I love you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So we're here this weekend. We're at Hurricanes, and then our next gig is Taco Tiki on the 5th of July.
Nice. Oh, no, nice weekend to have a.
But also,
gig.
let's do this way more often because this was really fun.
For sure.
Fun.
Absolutely.
I cannot believe that
We haven't done it
10
yet.
goddamn years ago, I was hanging out with your sister.
So crazy.
That's weird.
That's the weirdest thing
It's
to
wild,
me.
man. It's,
I saw the other day on your live stream you had Ellie here, and I was just like,
Whoa.
Yep.
because I remember she was super talented. She did her own thing. She played guitar by her fucking self, which is like so commendable. I could not be a solo performer, and also for you as well. Like doing your own thing, like I could not do that. But like seeing her at 60s and she would do her thing, and she was so talented. And then she got all of her stuff together and did a karaoke night where she was like hosting and like had her own tracks and like everything, which is super.
I mean,
difficult.
and back then at 60 Sundays too, back then when she was actually doing that, like literally
Hot ass
back
mess.
then, it was
hot ass mess.
She was killing it because the owners there were not great. So.
It was a disaster, and she killed it, and she carried it on, and she was always so professional and like did so much wonderful things that like I'm always.
If you think about the fact that I'm like 19 and she's 17, like
that was literally
this was the
10
only
years ago.
place that we could actually go. Like they were like offering us a place to be as like teenagers who were the musicians who wanted to actually do this. You know what I mean? That was great. That was like the outlet for that was amazing. It doesn't matter.
That's true. It kind of reminds me. I mean, I think you guys might have missed Exodus.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that was a little bit before your time. Yeah. But that was like kind of the start of it, you know, like that was a great place for people of all ages to go and do open mics and things like Exodus Cafe. Yeah.
That was oh my hiccups. It was like, so I was 17.
Yeah.
So I was not quite old enough to do literally anything.
Right.
And then when I moved out of Florida, I was 18 in 2 months.
Yeah. It gets a little weird when you come of age. I will say I'll kick off shameless plugs, or my shameless plugs anyway, by thanking everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate that. And those of you that are listening to the replays on the podcast, I would ask you to go and join the Jams and Cocktails live podcast group on Facebook and subscribe to the Brad Brock Music YouTube channel, as well as the Brad Brock Music channel on Twitch. You podcast purists, you'll find this podcast on your favorite podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So be sure to follow and subscribe to us there. I do have some show dates coming up. So you can see me live tomorrow night at the Square Grouper in Fort Pierce. I'll be there with Justin Mandel on bass. And Friday, I'll be at Shindig Irish Pub at 8 p.m. Saturday, I'll be at the Tiki Bar in Sebastian. And rounding out that week, I will be at Captain Hiram's Sandbar in Sebastian.
How fun.
Very fancy.
Sunday?
No, I'll be there on Tuesday of next week, and that kicks off at 4. I'll also be there with Justin on bass.
4 till 8?
I guess it is 4 to 8.
We actually just played there recently, so we might be there. We'll come down and
all right.
Yeah, you know.
Justin's great, man. He's a great bass player. So we put together a fun show.
Listen, I'm a drummer.
There you go.
Drums. Let's
You
do
need
it.
a drummer. Just contact Shanice.
Oh,
Nice.
She's always down to do it for.
I'll keep that in mind.
Literally for me. I'm just so desperate to play drums. I don't even care. I just want to play drums, man.
Also, you guys, you can keep up with all the
She's
places. I'll be performing on the free Brad Brock Music mobile app. And that's available from your favorite app store. And you can watch videos, including this podcast, and even make song requests at my live shows right from the app. Also, reach out if you have a business, venue, or product that you'd like us to feature on the show. We'd love to talk to you more about that. Well, yeah, that's my shameless plugs. Shameless plugs.
Those are some good plugs.
You did it. You did it. Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Any shameless plugs from the Peanut Gallery?
No.
No? Not tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Right on. Well, ladies, you want to give us one more tune here before we roll it up?
We got you. So
smoke it.
This last one is we always obviously spend the summer in the UK. One of the things that we always would do is spend our end of summer in the English-Scottish border on a seaside
The whole
cottage.
festival is spent on the high street in the literally. Oh my God, hiccups. In the middle of it all. Boo! In the middle of it all. Oh my God. I'm so scared.
I hope it works.
The economy.
Anyway, so we spend
the whole festival with like literally a new 10,000 people coming on the street every day.
Yes.
And then our friend had a little cottage by the sea on the English-Scottish border. Oh my God, stop. It's not going to work. And we spent a week there relaxing and playing this game called Cop It. And
so if you guys want to know what we did in that time, this is the what we did. Listen to the lyrics of the song and you got it.
I didn't have the hiccups the whole time, but I may have the whole song. Whatever.
Let's build a fire on a rainbow stone. Night turns gray from the bright sky blue, and watch it sparkle till the morning dew.
Let's play all the board games, drink 100 cups of English tea. We'll laugh till it hurts and stay up till 3.
Watch the waves crash.
I wanna jump across the oceans and all of the seas and land anywhere you
I wanna fly away like a bird across the skies and end up where you are.
I wanna jump across the oceans and all of the seas and land anywhere you
I wanna fly away like a bird across the skies and end up where your headlines. Do 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 do.
Let's hike up the hill and eat all the blackberries there along our way. Make sure to stop at every kissing. I'm sorry, I tried. I'm sorry, I tried.
Let's greet all of the sheep on the way down the rocks to our picnic by the sea. We'll stop at the waterfall and take in the breeze.
Watch the waves crash
I
with
wanna jump across the oceans and all of the seas and land anywhere you may be. Fly away like a bird across the skies and end up where you are. I wanna jump across the oceans and all of the seas and land anywhere you may be. Fly away like a bird across the skies and end up where your lies. We'll go anywhere we dream, travel the world with just these feet. And if we end up back by the sea, watch the waves crash
I wanna
me. Jump across the oceans and all of the seas and land anywhere you may be. Fly away like a bird across the skies and end up where your heart. Jump across the oceans and all of the seas and land anywhere you may be. Fly away like a bird across the skies and end up where your heart lies. Do, 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 do.
I'm sorry.
Do, 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 do.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Don't drop that.
Listen, I really tried. That was an effort. I
Man,
tried.
she got the hiccups real hard.
Wow, that was so intense.
Oh, but hey, you made it through. And you
She
lost your
did.
headphones halfway through.
I
Man.
did. It was a whole.
We can
champion.
actually do another song that's not hiccupy if you guys would like.
No,
to.
no, the hiccups are gonna keep going. So like doing another song is a waste of time.
It's all right. We're going to wind it down here. I'm going to leave you guys with a little message from our friend Tony Espinosa. It's
With
our
more to be desired.
yeah, it's our midweek motivation. Tony is a good friend of ours. He's also a certified leadership coach, and he sends us videos each week just to kind of get us through the midweek hump there. So here's a message from our buddy Tony Espinosa, and then we'll say good night. So hang tight, get your pens and papers. Here's your midweek motivation.
BradBrock.com, how you doing, brother? Wednesday night jams and cocktails. Bro, I'm sorry for dressing down, but it is South Florida and it is hot, warm outside. Got my red. Look, it's fogging up because it's so hot. This red wine and it's colder than the weather. Thank you for letting me be here. I love you, my friend. Oh, it's crazy times we're living in, brother, but I appreciate you. You give me something to look forward to every Wednesday night, man, and I'm glad you're doing well. It's always good to talk to you. It's always good to know you're out there. Look, I just want to say, you know, we're looks like we're about to go through another lockdown in this country. It's no fault of our own. We trust our government, and they tell us things, and but I don't blame the government. I blame what I see going on out there, and I see people rushing the scene, and I see bar managers and restaurant managers not managing their businesses, allowing too many people to be around each other. I see people not following the rules that the local governments are putting in place to try to protect us. So do I trust government? No. Do I trust people? No. But I think if this is the time that we need to worry and control what you can control. It doesn't matter what someone else is doing. It doesn't matter what is going on out there in the world. Control. Use this time to learn to control yourself, control your emotions. I love the topic. The circle, two big circles, huge circle, and then a small circle in the middle. The small circle in the middle is a circle of influence. The larger circle is a circle of concern. Where would a highly intentional, highly proactive, someone that's trying to accomplish goals, accomplish dreams, and get to another level, where are you going to focus your energy? The circle of concern is the COVID, the weather, the government, other people, things around you that you have no control over. Worry about your inner circle, the circle of influence, what you can influence, what you can control. That's where you need to put all of your energy, not some of your, not part-time energy, all of your energy. Focus on the things that you have control over. Right now, we can't do much. We can't go places. We're locked down. What can you control? You can control your agenda. You can start getting into a new habit, into a new routine. Start it. If you didn't start this months ago, start it now. Start working on things you can control, all the things you want to do. You need to have routine. You have to control and be intentional on the things that you want to do. Start getting up early. Start a workout routine. You don't have to go to the gym for 3 hours, 10, 15 minutes a day of something. Walking, 100 push-ups a day, whatever. Small, little tiny habits that you can put into your routine. Start dealing with them now. And looks like we're about to get shut down again. So start implementing now. Worry about the things that you can control. Don't worry about the rest of it. We bitch and we moan and we complain about what other people, these riots that are not happening here. These riots that are not happening here, they're over there. That's out of our control. Don't worry about that. Don't let what other people are doing thousands of miles away affect your decision making, affect your emotions. Do you think one of those rioters in the other states cares how you feel about it? No, they don't. Have your emotion, you're human, but don't let it ruin your life. Don't let it change what you're trying to accomplish. Keep your habits, keep your routine, get to the next level. Don't worry about the circle of concern. Worry about the circle of influence. And slowly, as these habits start to become routine, you are going to see in time, with intentionality, that your life is improving, that you're heading in the right direction. When people start hating on you, friends start hating on you, that's good. That means they see you growing and they see you going in a different direction, and they're too scared to grow, and they're still too scared to move forward and grow with you. So you're doing it right when you start getting haters. Change your routine, change your habits, get to the place you want to be, control what you can control. Don't worry about the rest. I love you. BradBrock.com. One love. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Tony Espinosa, as always, thank you for that message. And yes, it's true. We are living in a bizarre time, especially in the time of COVID, there's testing waters and there's there's rules that are set out there to protect, but we don't always follow people aren't following them, so we do get take a step forward, 3 steps back, and so that was a good message. And he's right, we need to focus on ourselves a little bit more and be accountable in ourselves a little bit more, and hope that people are doing the same thing. But we ran a little long tonight, but it's always good. We had a lot to talk about and a lot of stuff that really makes a lot of sense. And I just want to say that I hope y'all had fun. A very special thanks to Katy and Shanece.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Of
It was
course,
our
of course.
absolute pleasure. We loved being here. I want to be here way more
with-
often, so let me know.
We gotta come back. You gotta have us back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we will. And like I said, now that we kind of got the let's get to know each other thing, now we can
can be
into,
real weird.
Yeah, we can
go
get
on
real
the
weird.
weirdness of our friendship with
We're
each
just
other.
regular
Yeah.
friends now, not just side weird friends.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
Now
it's official.
Do we just become best friends?
Yeah.
Did
Are we
just
about
become
to
friends?
kiss right now? We were.
Kiss right now.
Also want to send a special thank you to Jeff from Treasure Coast Entertainment, who was hanging with us, but he had to split.
Yes,
Jeff is a
yes.
hero, by the way, because Victoria Lee forgot her guitar at home in South
Yes,
Stewart.
And he rescued her.
She was all the way down at Kyle G's, and he
man.
brought her a guitar to get through her show, which is awesome.
That's a drive.
What
Jeff
a
is,
legend.
Jeff is amazing, and we
Jeff.
love him. Yes, he's amazing. We love him. He books us everywhere. We love him to death.
Yeah.
Jeff is the best. Jeff
He's
is
good
the best.
people. Oh,
all right.
Now that jam again.
that was intense for the moment.
As always, Jordan, thank you for holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Bethany,
That was
thanks for following.
Yeah. Not just at the very end, Bethany, but thanks for joining us.
It's fine. We won't judge you.
following.
It's fine. We won't judge you.
Next week on the show, we have the legendary one-man, 5-piece band Stephen D. Hunt. So be sure to tune in for that.
What an interesting fellow.
I know.
It's
He's
gonna be great.
So he
You're
had
gonna
us
love it.
first because they're like, they're average, but this guy. Yep.
No.
And a big spike.
It's fine. We like to talk ourselves down. It's all good.
As you know, we're here live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, so join us there. Until then, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you guys for joining us. Good night.
Yes, wear masks.
Goodbye.